Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Talking Tradesman podcast. With me in the studio today, I have Sean Nolan, all the way from Southern Ireland, one of my favourite cities, from Dublin. Sean's the first Irishman to sit in the Talking Tradesman studio. So, Sean, first of all, mate, massive welcome. Huge thank you for the effort. And let's talk, mate.
Yeah, let's talk.
Let's talk. Pleasure to have you, mate. It's an honour to have you all the way from Ireland. I've got an affinity, a soft spot. I was telling you about this, like pre-record. I love Dublin anyway, which is obviously your hometown. So great to have a Paddy sat in the chair.
Thanks.
But yeah, man, appreciate you coming over. So your story, mate, your story. Every story has a start point. I've said those words a few times.
Definitely.
Where does well, first of all, mate, tell us a little bit about you.
So, Sean Nolan from Dublin. I started Nolan decorating. Geez, about four years now, I think. Yeah. So relatively new, but I'll go into that later on as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so grew up in Dublin my whole life. Went to school in Dublin. Sorry.
No, man, it's all good.
I paused there a second. How would I get in to talk about my school life then?
Start now. Just go straight into it. Yeah. Went to school at Dublin. Yeah. Right, we're in.
Okay. So grew up in Dublin, went to school in Dublin. Say normal family situation. When we were kids, the parents separated. I don't need to get into too much detail there. It's just, and then dad left.
Mate, it's all too common these days, isn't it? I mean, as you know, like I've got a similar background myself.
No, of course,
my mum and dad split when I was 8. How old were you?
I'd say about this, maybe a bit younger.
Okay.
Definitely, because we lived in a different part of Dublin. We moved, then it happened. But they broke up first, and then dad moved out, and with someone else, you can read between the lines there.
Yeah.
But no, we're all very close now. If anything, it was hard. I find it brought us all closer together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like my relationship with my brother and sister were just like the best of friends, and then with my parents as well.
I think it can do, mate, can't it? I think that's the ideal situation, is that it does that. It either does that or it
breaks. Yeah, 100%. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy at the start. Like, of course not.
How many brothers and sisters you got?
So one of each. So I'm the middle child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Middle child syndrome.
Yeah.
So I'm the middle child, and then my older sister, who's great, and my brother, who lives in Manchester. But yeah, no, definitely. It's now looking back after going through stuff and that, I'm lucky in a sense. Most definitely, because I feel like me and my mum would go to the theatre together. Me and my dad would go to gigs together. Do you know, in that sort of sense, we're so close.
So you stayed with your mum?
So we stayed with mum, yeah. So we live in Ballyrone, and dad obviously moved out and moved elsewhere. And we live with mum the whole. And she's like, you know what, my mother, like, I never said about the mother they're great, but she really was. Like, my father, so what would happen was, going to school and stuff, he'd come down and maybe do the breakfast, because mum used to work at Marks and Sparks, and she would get up at like 5 a.m, go to work, dad would come down and do the breakfast for school.
Yeah.
Then she'd do a full day's graft, come home, and then do homework and everything like that. Like, she was, one in a million.
That's nice to hear, mate. That's
definitely.
Nice to hear.
I think obviously when you get older, because when you're younger, you can't process everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then, which obviously we'll talk about, and then when you get older, you kind of reflect on stuff,
You do, mate. I mean, have you got any kids yourself?
No.
Okay. One of the major turning points for me personally was when I had kids, because then I started reflecting back on like my child's age compared to the things that happened when I was their age.
Of course, yeah.
So like, funnily enough, it was a bit of history repeating for me, because my mum and dad split when I was 8.
Yeah.
But the probably abnormal one there is that my mum left. So I stayed with my dad. But then I split up with the mother of my child, like my kids, when my son was 8 as well. So it was like identical.
100%.
But that then put me in a position where I would reflect on it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, which we're obviously going to talk about, but I think things happen in life and you don't understand why. And then you're saying, this is reasons of stuff in the past,
Yeah.
But so like, that was growing up, and we do still live at home now, like back living at home, but it's gorgeous area, like, you know what I mean? It's very lucky, because both parents, they worked their arse off to get where we were.
Yeah.
Really did, and I'm, what would you call it? Pleasure, like a privilege to have that. And then growing up, like we never wanted or went without stuff either, you know. But like the way obviously now it's different, but it was like, you know, your birthdays and then Christmas, you know. It wasn't like every, you know, yourself now, obviously because you'd have kids. The way like you go to Smiths now and it's like a want. It was, you know, never went without. But I just think I remember one time, do you remember when Star Wars came out and Dark Sidious had a red lightsaber? I think it's the right name, Dark Sidious. And I remember I said that I want one of them, and he got an old a red mop, and he just cut the end of it off, put tape on. It's like, there you go. I remember I was on the street, and all the kids with the plastic ones on there with a metal bar.
Yeah.
But just like that, like it was just normal, normal, great upbringing, you know. Yeah. So the likes of the family background definitely was like that. There was obviously when you're in that situation and you might hear, you know, arguments and stuff, which is given. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you hold on to certain memories and stuff, you know?
There's a lot, mate. Yeah, some of it you end up boxing to the back of your head. You don't really realise that it's there until later down the line.
Later, yeah.
So.
Because I remember, like, and I've only told my father this recently, that, God, for the first months, after when he did leave, and you know, he left the home, like, didn't leave forever. I used to have this current dream that we were in a car and it broke down, and he was right back in a minute, and he doesn't come back, and I'd wake up, pillow be wet and all crying.
Yeah.
But I used to have that till about 12. Like every month and then every year, like it's just
because your dad left.
Yeah.
Do
you know what I mean? Like, and like no, saying he left, like he was only up the road and we seen him all the time. He was a great dad. But when you're a kid, you're saying, why is he not in the house?
I can resonate, mate. Yeah, like you say, when you're a child, though, you see the world through very different eyes.
100%, yeah.
But how you see it, that's reality to you.
Yeah.
So if you see it that he's left, he's not there. Even if he is up the road and he's not in the house, it still feels like he's not there. That's reality.
No, 100%. So
you end up building. I think of it like house building. So you got your foundations, which are built through childhood, and if there's any defects in those foundations, the house will still get built, but years down the line, you'll have a problem.
But it's like anything in life. You don't. Okay, so we're all born, right? JC's not waiting there with a handbook being like, when stuff happens in life to you, you do this. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to go through stuff and you have to see things
100%
to build the character you become, like. But definitely, but I do remember there was, my sister probably hear this now and like bloody cry, but there was one summertime. We were in, you know, up in the Green Plain and 6 o'clock comes and all the fathers come home, you know, banking, accountancy jobs and all the cars. I remember I just started crying, being like, oh, like, Dad's not home. It's 6 o'clock. And this was probably about 3 years after.
Yeah.
She goes, no, but we'll see him tomorrow. And she was right. But because everyone else, as you would say, normality, but it's probably not normality. Do you know what I mean? Like in that sort of sense. Yeah. And then like that took a while to kind of get used to it. And then I wouldn't mind people back then that I knew that I grew up with, parents stayed together, they wouldn't have the relationship I have with my parents.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for that.
It's, yeah. See, I've seen it on the other side as well because I've gone through the relationship breakdown with my kids. Let's pause there a moment to thank this episode's sponsors, Zinza. Have you heard of Zinza's Perma White? Perma White is tough, it's scrubbable, and it's the best mold-resistant finish to use in high-moisture areas like kitchens and bathrooms. We use this in our business all the time. It's designed to resist cracking, peeling, and blistering for up to 7 years, and it can be tinted to any RAL or NCS colour on the chart that you want at selected retailers. It's water-based, it's low odour, it's easy to work with, it's quick to recoat. What more could you want in a bathroom quality and kitchen quality emulsion? If you haven't already, go and check out Zinza's Perma White. Thank you to Zinza. Let's get back to the episode. Like, prime example, mate, last weekend, I had my daughter, right? And there's distance involved with my situation. So my daughter's in Devon and we're in the Midlands. So it's like 2.5, 3 hours away. So I see her every other weekend. But the other weekend she came up and she just offhandedly said, oh, I want to go to a museum. And I took her down to London for the day and we went to like the British Museum.
Okay, yeah.
Mate, I would not have, if she lived with me, I wouldn't have done that. Yeah. Just because I see it as like, that time where she's with me has got to be quality time.
Yeah.
It's got to be memories made. It's got to be things that she's going to remember because I'm missing out on so much. So I try and do special stuff while she's with me, which is bizarre because then, if I'm honest, like my son lives with me. I don't do that stuff with him.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe there's a slight element of taking it for granted because he's there. But when you have that split relationship, you do tend to find that the parent that hasn't got the kid, on the times they have done,
definitely.
a lot of the
Do more
time will
stuff.
make it, make it special, because I think you appreciate then that it's not taken for granted.
No, definitely.
And that's how it is a little bit, like I say, with my daughter. I'll always try and make sure that we do something.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it definitely is like, but yeah, no, it is, and that's why like now like we have so many common interests and we do so much stuff. We always did, but especially now when you get older. So look, even though it was a shitty situation and people got hurt, a good couple of years after now, great relationship. Like I even have my dad like works with me, like, do you know what I mean? So
that's good.
Yeah. He thinks he's the boss, but he's not.
Yeah, that's it. You're not. So, taking it back then, Sean, because you mentioned school.
Yeah, skills.
How was your school life? How did school
difficult. Go? Yeah, very difficult. So obviously it's a different situation here. So you have like Montessori, and then we'd have like Montessori, then junior, senior infants.
Okay. So what was that first one you said?
Montessori. So like you used to be doing like the alphabet and this sort of stuff.
Like nursery, you'd call that.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were doing that, and I remember like couldn't get my head around the ABC, couldn't get my head around anything. And I think Mum had an idea that, okay, I think you could be dyslexic or there's something not 100% here, And then when I went to junior, senior infants, so that'd be before kind of primary school, just a little gap there.
Yeah.
I remember the teacher, I think it was Miss Bookers now, she said to my mum at the time, no, I think Sean definitely is dyslexic, and she got assessed.
Yeah.
So sure enough, we did, and I was like, but like, how would I'd be in school, so at that age I would have been maybe 5 or 6, I'm not too sure, or 7. You're doing word search, and it'd be and it. I couldn't for the life of me find any of them in the word search. Couldn't read it or anything like.
Yeah.
Like I was very, very bad dyslexic. And then like, people like, oh, kids are kids, like, and we're very young then, but they're like, oh, Sean's silly, and then these stay in your mindset, like, and you're like, and then you feel silly. So then when I went to primary school, I think it was first class, then there's a school in Dublin, Catherine McCauley's it's called. It's for dyslexic children, but it's nearly impossible to get into it. I think now there's 2 or 3 of them in Ireland, which is ridiculous. It really is. But this time there's only 1 in all of the country. Oh. So I know, I don't know all the ins and outs because I remember some of it, but I know my mum, like, she went down and you had to have interviews and stuff to get in, and be assessed. And I think I went in there in, I want to say second class. I don't know. Sorry, I think it was third class. But I always remember going to the interview. So the principal interviewed you beforehand. And I remember before I started, she said to me, I think it was along the lines of, the blinds are over your eyes, and when you start coming to the school, I'm going to lift the blinds off your eyes, and you'll be able to see and read. I remember my mum like broke down crying because it must be very hard.
Yeah, of course, mate. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
And for me at the time, like I understood, but didn't understand everything. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
So I went to it. So that was in town. Like, I remember, like, at the start, my parents would bring me in, and then I just thought it was too much for them. It'd be like, I said, like, what, the nearest city to here? It'd be like driving into that city centre.
Birmingham. Yeah. Birmingham or Worcester from here.
So it was in Bagger Street. So you're leaving, where we live in the suburb, going through all that rush hour traffic, and then going about your business, going to work or whatever. So at the end of it, I just got the bus. I got a bus pass from the government. But now, God, I think I was 8 years of age getting the bus on my own. Like, now you wouldn't even think of it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But it was normal back then. So I went to school then, and like, it was daunting because the fact that it was the only school in Ireland, you had people from the north, from all over Ireland, and then you had people from like disadvantaged areas in one big bundle. So like at the start it was grand and all, and then I never even spoke about this openly and such, but then I started getting bullied
at the school.
Yeah. Now, I want to get into now, but when I did finally come out and tell teachers, it was dealt with straight away, and the student was asked to leave because it was a privilege to be in the school because you're trying to help every kid read and write. You know what I mean? But like, how would you say, it happened without realizing it was happening. So I remember, like, and so I'm sorry, I never really talk about this.
Mate, it's okay. Take your time, man.
So I remember, like, you'd be in the classroom, and it was mixed as well. Sorry, so it was girls and boys, and we all wore our own clothes. And I remember, like, if you're not wearing a certain brand or just crap, like. And I remember then, I don't know how it came about, but this fella, he just said to me one day, "Oh, come into the bathroom, I want to show you something." I was like, "Oh, yeah," innocently. Then I started bloody putting my head in the toilet. Yeah, so I think he was on The Simpsons or something, and I was just kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And then you finish like, "Oh, you're going to be in our gang now." So you automatically think, "Oh, this is normal." This is grand. So then that went on, and then we'd be in the playground, and he'd be like hitting me digs and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is normal. Then it went on and went on and went on. So I'd say about a month and a half. And I got to a stage where you're bloody on the bus coming in and you're shaking. You don't want to go into school. So you're having a problem reading, and then you have this other problem of being bullied every day. Like,
it's brutal, mate. Yeah. Bullying's no fucking joke. It
No.
really ain't. And kids, man, kids can be savage.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know?
And it was like, and then I remember then, just that went on for a while. In and out, pretty much head in the toilet most days of the week. And then one day we were doing this thing. At the time, the guards used to come in and like do like talks and stuff. The guards be
the police. Yeah.
And they come in and do talks. And one of the little girls, Lisa was her name, she goes to me, "Oh, Sean, you should say about what so-and-so is doing." And I was like, oh, okay. And then one of the other fellas, who was my good friend, he's like, "No, do it." And like, because he's doing it to me too. So I spoke out about it.
Oh,
and then straight away it was just, okay, Sean, we have to bring you outside. And
so he wasn't just picking on you. He was
no, it was two of us. Yeah. So and you know what? Afterwards, look, on reflection, and even afterwards when it happened, when I heard of this guy's upbringing and his family situation, I was kind of saying, well, it's not nice, but I understand, because you kind of felt like, here's this guy from a nice area in the suburb, and now he's coming to this school, and I'm going to do this to him, like. Yeah. So look, it wasn't bloody nice, but there's no reason to do it, but I don't hold any, especially not now. I haven't seen these people in years, but I wouldn't hold any hatred against them.
It's hard, mate, isn't it? I mean, it was a big changing point for me when I studied psychology, because I used to be very reactive. So I'd have been savage, like thinking, fuck that guy. Do you know what I mean?
Course, yeah.
But then once you start looking into it, and it's like, well, hold on, why did he act that way?
Exactly, yeah.
Why did he bully you? There's a good chance he's either seen it or he's getting it himself, potentially at home. And then that behaviour just gets passed on. It doesn't make it right.
No,
because you're still the victim in that.
Yeah.
But once you can understand it, it makes it harder to be pissed off. I just wanted to take a moment to thank this episode's sponsor, Worcester. For over 170 years, Worcester have crafted the highest quality paint applicators and accessories in their home of Worcester, Ohio. Worcester produce premium equipment that provides a brilliant finish and stands up to the hard work that professional decorators do in their job every day. Their top quality tools include the Gold Edge and Silver Tip brush range. They also produce a wide range of rollers and innovative tools such as the Lockjaw, the Pelican paint kettle, their whole range of rollers, and innovative tools such as the Dust Eater. These are all tools that we use in our business on a weekly basis. Worcester's dedicated to better results with less effort. Thank you to Worcester for supporting the Talking Tradesman podcast. Let's get back to the conversation.
Exactly, yeah. I don't get me wrong, like, for years I didn't think of this, but there's reasons now why I have a different mindset of thinking, which we'll get into. But also, you know yourself, if you ever hold hatred towards somebody, you feel worse.
Yeah. So
you need to just push that crap out of you.
Mate, holding hatred and anger, it's draining.
It is, yeah.
It just saps you, doesn't it?
And that person doesn't affect them.
No, it doesn't. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even you'd have situations, be it, I don't know, customers or everyday life or someone in traffic jam, say, no, feck it, let this go. I'm not going to hold anger against this person, because they don't realize you're doing it.
Yeah,
exactly. And then you're pissed off then.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean?
That's a good mindset to hold.
Well, it takes practice.
Yeah, it does.
Sorry,
oh, mate, I need to get some. Yeah, I need to get like a supersized one to go on.
Some lazy boys.
That's it, mate. So, little trick, I pull it up so it's like higher on the back.
Oh, yeah, that's sweet. Yeah.
But you have to pin it. The more you see, I won't move that much. The reason I don't move is because I don't want to lose the cushion.
Perfect.
But yeah,
sorry, I'm fecker for a tangent. So if I do a tangent, you pull me back.
Sure, tangents are all good, mate. Tangents, I love a tangent, man. Tangents are where the gems are.
Man, I'm just pure, like, my friends would even tell you, like, we walk down the street talking about something, and next minute you're like, what were we talking about a minute ago? And I'm just so far gone. Like,
if I'm honest with you, mate, my experience of speaking to Irish people is that.
Tangents,
the conversation can go off in a few different directions, man.
100%.
I'm here for it.
Especially if I have a drink in me and I start speaking Swahili, you won't know.
I should have lined up some Guinness.
Wait till tomorrow after the show.
Yeah,
you don't know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Oh, Sean, don't mention the show. I was trying to make out that you'd only come here for this.
Few brown envelopes.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, Sean is over from Dublin for the painting and decorating show, which is tomorrow and the day after. By the time this episode goes out, it'll all be over.
But hopefully we'll still be friends.
We'll still be mates, man. We'll still be mates. So there's a meet up on the Tuesday, Tuesday night. You're going to that?
Yeah, like people just send me all different messages, so I go with the flow. But I will most definitely, because I've made so many good friends. Yeah. I'm not going to name them because, my God, you forget one person. Do you ever get them things on the Instagram? And I keep sending to me. It's like tag 10 accounts. I do be sweating.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't tag 10 accounts, and you forget somebody.
I never respond to them.
No, you're better off.
I'll share them, but I never respond to them. No. One, because I just think I can't be asked.
Yeah.
And two, because of exactly that.
You'd be melted. I'd be there. And I'd send it, and then someone would text you like, shite. I never put their name in it.
But yeah, mate, well, if you haven't already been told, I'm sure you probably already have, but Weatherspoons in Coventry on the Tuesday night of the decorating show just turns into like the decorator's arms.
So
everybody's in there,
yeah,
mate.
No, sweet. No, definitely, because so many guys, which I'm not going to name their names, and they know who they are. Like, I've met so many brilliant friends.
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you now. So last year's show, which is obviously, the painting and decorating show is mid-November. And the reason that this is relevant was last year's show was a bit of a catalyst to starting this. Yeah. And the reason for that is because I went to last year's show, and I went for the reason, not because, if I'm honest with you, it's a great show, but everything you can get at the show, you can get in the trade centre.
Oh, 100%.
So you don't really, and there's not normally, you don't turn up and there's this new revolutionary item that's being launched.
A robot that will paint for you.
Well, fucking hopefully that won't be the case. But that ain't normally the case. What I'm getting at is there's not normally like anything new or revolutionary.
No,
there.
Of course.
So it's good to network and speak to people. But
I think for me, it's meeting people.
That's exactly what it is. It's like a giant meetup.
Like which we'll get into now. Sorry, I've gone off on tangents. Especially since after Christmas, when I've come really out of my shell, I've just talked to so many people. And I'm like, I'm coming over for this. And like, I'll make sure I'm there, So for me, it's like a bit of a holiday. Like, you're meeting your friends that you'd swap, what would you say, so-and-so, like, has anyone had this problem before? And, you're messaging all the time. And then you're going to meet everybody.
It's exactly that, mate. And it was one of the things that pointed out to me, because I was talking to people last year. And for me, the show's 40 minutes away. So I don't have to make that much effort.
No.
But I was talking to people that had flown in from Scotland and like come from all over the place to go to this show. And that was one of the things that made me think that the trades, it needs that like team spirit. It needs that thing that pulls us together.
But I do think you guys over here have it more sussed. So now, I'm not speaking for everybody at home, but I do know you guys, which I know is on Instagram, that much more of a community, which I'd love to happen at home in Dublin and stuff, because I just find you can see it.
Yeah.
And like, let's say, like, for argument's sake, I'm not going to name names, but I've seen people put up on, having a bad day, messing out messages. Everyone's messaging, oh, what's the crack? You all right? Or this job's not going well. Or, you'd love to have that, especially at home. Now, I've two very good friends that I've met. Talking to you, Liam and Rob.
You're getting named.
Liam and Rob, like, I only met them through Instagram. And Rob lives 10 minutes up the road from me.
Really?
And we, every time, message, and like, we'd work in the same area.
Yeah.
But it's not like, there's times when he's been busy. I'm like, Shawnee, there's a job there if you want to go for it. Yeah. I can't do it. Like, that's what you should be no back stabbing people in the back.
Absolutely, mate. Build each other up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I've met them through Instagram, and they're like such. I say two of my best friends now.
There's a beauty to it, mate. There really is. And as I say, it was seeing that last year, and I'm putting the dots together and thinking, there's this need for community, really.
I think so.
And doing this, one of the, obviously, as we know, the construction industry in the UK is, UK and Ireland, is the worst industry to be in for male suicide. And decorators and plasterers are the two worst.
You're on your own, your thoughts.
Exactly that. One of the biggest issues is the solitary nature of it. And I think it's because with decorators, we're the finishing trade. So we go in last, and we tend to, all the other trades have gone, hopefully.
Yeah, there's nothing worse.
Exactly.
There's nothing worse.
So there's me saying it's a bad thing, but at the same time, it's like, hopefully
it's a
they've
good
thing. But you are on your own a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it really does help having Instagram and these connections and these meetups to look forward to, where you can get together, you can have a moan, you can, play out things that have not gone right and build those connections.
It's good to get, like I was on a job a while ago during the summer, and an exterior job, and no matter how much I'd done, you could still see you know, when you're scraping and it's all fun, and it's just driving me mad. And I rang Rob. I was like, what do you think? He said, have you done X, Y, and Z? It's like, I have. It's like, Shine, that's as best as it's going to get me. And I explained to the customer, and she was delighted with it anyway. But I had that person just give a quick bell to.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I have my dad and my uncles with me the odd time, but just another ear. Just what do you think? Do you know what I mean?
Definitely, mate. And a lot of the time, it's just to reconfirm what you already know.
Yeah.
So you already know the answer. You know what's gone wrong or what's gone right or what the issue is. But just to have somebody go, yeah, you're right, mate, it just lifts the pressure, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you just get in your own head and you start overthinking. And
mate, I've been in the trade 24 years now.
Yeah.
And I still get that. I still get to points where something will happen. I'll be like, fuck it. Is that me? Have I done something wrong there? And I still look for that confirmation. Every job you do is different. Every house you work on is different. Every customer's different.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I still make mistakes, you know, both with jobs and with customers.
But exactly. And one thing I love that you always say is what you've learned back then, some of it is relevant, some of it's not relevant now. It's all new products, new order base and everything. Like everything keeps changing.
It does, mate. And it's one of the things that I loved is I was asked when I was studying psychology to define intelligence.
Yeah.
Right, what is intelligence? Right? How do you define that? And the definition of intelligence is the ability to adapt to your environment quickest.
Yeah.
So the ability to adapt defines intelligence. Right?
Yeah.
Because there's all sorts of things. There's common sense, there's academic, you know, acumen, stuff like that. But to be intelligent is to adapt to your surroundings and thrive quickest. That's what intelligence is.
It really is in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah. And with our industry and every other industry within construction out there, it's constantly evolving.
Yeah, no, of course.
And you've got the dinosaurs that are stuck in the mud, where they are. And it's those people. Exactly, mate. And it's on one side, I'm like, that's fine. You do you. If you want to work with oil-based paints still, you want to use old systems and you get good results, that is fine.
Exactly, yeah.
You stick to that. But you can't shoot down all the new stuff.
Which
is what they do.
You can't, because like people are behind the scene putting effort into these products. They're not doing, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like I use probably 3 brands but different things. And people are surprised, but don't be one brand for everything. No, I use I think everyone has their own. And then like someone else like, oh well, I'd rather use this or that. Like, well, that's each to your own.
Yeah.
Today, the customer's happy, that's all that matters.
100%, mate. 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
We've gone right off on a tangent.
We have.
We've gone into decorating. Well, this is always the risk when I get a decorator in.
I'm probably here trying to. My mind's on overdrive. Where were we?
Where were we?
School.
We were school with the situation, and essentially, I guess when the bullying came to an end.
Yeah. So that was my first, and it was only the first month and a half now. So when that happened, that student was automatically expelled because the way it wasn't a normal school. Do you know what I mean? It was for people who had difficulties. It was hard to get in. So why some little shit be doing that to someone else, and then there's some poor other kid that can't get in.
Yeah.
So that was the end of that, really. Like, so that school I was in, you're only given 2 years. But typical me, Sean, we found out I had reflux in the kidney. Now, I'll try to explain it to you as much as I know. So you have tubes that go into your kidneys. So my left one is the one that's gone now. It was twisted around so much.
Yeah.
So it's in the family. So my brother has 1.5, and my dad always gets kidney stones. And I had 2 at the time, but this one wasn't functioning, which we didn't realize. So my second year in the dyslexia school, I was in and out all the time in hospital appointments, trying to see if they can fix it. Really.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because they ended up giving me 3 years then, because I missed so much in the second year.
Okay, yeah.
So I was grateful for that. Like, you know what I mean? Definitely, yeah.
And how did that go into that special school? Like, what did they do? Did they just give you like coping mechanisms, or?
It's kind of, do you know what? There was a show on the other night, a couple of weeks ago on RTE. So there'll be like our BBC, your BBC, I mean. And it was based on the school. And I was sitting there, I was just nearly upset because you're watching it. So it was kind of like taking everything down. So you're reading slower. They're trying to get you to spell out your words. So I wouldn't know the right stuff they're doing, but it definitely worked. So it'd be kind of like, I would have been in, it was 3rd, 4th and 5th class. So normal in my old school, what they're doing in 5th class, I wouldn't be doing. I'd be more like, do you know what I mean, ABCs and this, that, and the other, and then using your mind more so. Which I thought was better as well, because there was times we were doing challenges like design and stuff. Like, you know what I mean, like using your brain.
Yeah.
For being like, and like, it was that sort of lark. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still times like if I'd see, like today getting the trains to yourself, like that's why I wear my glasses. Like I need to double check and everything, because, and even if I'm doing a post on Instagram, it's not like, there it goes. I'm going onto my Google and spell checking everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's, you have to do it all the time.
Yeah.
And even with the boys up in AIC Paints, doing all the shout outs.
He wasn't going to shout anyone out, and now they're all coming out.
But the boys in the paint shop, like, and before I was so embarrassed, but now I'm not. If I'm doing a paint, some of them are mad names. I ring the boys up, like, look at what paint do you want, Shawnee? I'm like, the Fleetwood card, this is the name of it, and I'll just spell it out. Oh yeah, because I can't say it.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Like, for years and years and years, I was so embarrassed to tell anyone I was dyslexic. Now, I mean, like, up to my kind of 20s, even which I'll get to now in a while in retail. But now I don't give a shit. There's no big thing about it.
No.
At all.
No, there's not, mate. And I think hopefully and luckily the awareness of things like dyslexia and ADHD and autism, and not to look, I know they're all very different things before somebody comes at me on that, but I'm saying the awareness around all of these things is really on the up. And nobody, I mean, Christ, mate, you look at some of the high profile examples, the one I always go to is Richard Branson.
Of course, yeah.
Dyslexic, and look at him.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, to me, with all those things, it's brain different.
It's just how you think, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that your brain operates differently to the majority of the population.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's wrong. It don't mean it's broke.
No.
It don't mean that you're in any way lower. It's just different. So 100%. As long as, and this is one of my gripes, mate, with the education system. I'm not that clued up on the education system in Ireland, but in the UK, it's so single track.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you fit into those brackets or you're discarded.
Yeah.
And to me, like, there's so many people that don't fit into those brackets.
No.
And it's no reflection on their abilities. It's just that they need to do things differently.
Like you say now with the education system, like, when I was definitely in secondary school, I wasn't told, oh, you want to be a sole trader or you want to be your own boss, this is what you should do. It was like, so we call it our leaving cert, then you go to college, 9 to 5, kids, wife, that's it. It's really like, so what I'm doing now is completely out of the norm, but it's not. Yeah. For me anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, that's exactly what, yeah. So you follow that track or you're not really paid any attention.
No, of course. And that's why, no, I'm not going to go on a tangent. We'll stay where we are. Pause.
Fair enough. Just hold that one there. So I'll take it. I mean, so you went to the school that helped you. What happens then? Do they feed you back into mainstream?
So you literally go back. So I would have went back in 6th class. Now at the time, my principal, he was like, so you go back and you have resource classes. So they'd be like, so I never got to learn Irish. Okay. So, and in school you are, and if something I think is taught wrong, it's more taught as a chore, not as your first language. Like, do you know what I mean? So when Irish come on, I go off and do English classes.
Okay.
And that's what, and that's was right up till I left like secondary school and everything. Yeah. Like, I never done Irish because because it was like, you have no problem with English. Do you know what I mean? But then English it's a weird lange. Like, like I'm sorry, like no, KNOW. What's K doing there, waiting for a bus? Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
And I guess especially when your mind works the way it works, to
like no, NO should be the same no for everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then there's like 3 different there's, like, I don't know. So that's what I'd be focusing on, that. Do you know what I mean? And then like with the B's and the D's, like for years I'd put D's instead of B's and this sort of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? So that was that, yeah. So that's what happened. So I went right back to 6th class, and I had help there, which was great, through the principals, and you do reading classes and stuff like that. But one thing, I don't know if it's still the same now, which I suppose teachers maybe they weren't thinking, but I'd be doing my work, and then say everyone else, like, we finished a good bit before me. Then you get the top student, go over and help Sean. And my God, talk about belittling somebody. Yeah. So I'd have this student overlooking me. Oh no, that's wrong. And you're saying, you're not the fucking teacher. Yeah. Why are you doing that to me? And because teachers just, I don't know what it's like here, the system, but in Ireland it was very laxy-daisy for so long. In the sense that, like, only to what, into the 80s, people were able to hit the kids. Now it's different. So I think it was that sort of like, oh no, get the student to do my job, and I'm going to sit here and read the paper, and then we're going to the next subject. Yeah. So, but like, that, do not to me made me feel so belittled. Yeah. I can imagine, yeah. And then you start sweating and you start freaking out, do you know what I mean? Because that's your peer group as well. Exactly. Yeah. That's the people that you're meant to be on an equal standard. 100%. So that was that, yeah. So anyway, so that was sixth class, and then you go into secondary level. So first year and all, so I went to school, and they were great. I had a great resource teacher there, like, and geez, it wasn't for her. Like that. Like when you're doing your exams, I'd have somebody in the room with me, and she'd just pre-read stuff. So I'd read it. I'm like, I don't understand this word, and she'd read it out for me and this sort of stuff. So I had that right through till I finished my schooling.
Okay.
Yeah, and because like, and I would say with the likes of the government, they're not always great, but that stuff was great because you put in for it, and you're given the help, and I think it's still now as well in schools.
So I'm making an assumption here, but when you got to like what exams do you do at the end?
So in Ireland we have the junior cert, which is just it's a load of. I'm not going to say the word.
Say it, Sean.
It's a load of wank.
Yeah, say it. We're good.
It's just I don't know. I think it's a bit irrelevant. Then you have the leaving cert, but even the leaving cert now, there's questions going. So the leaving cert is literally everything you learned for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the same here. You put into your mindset, and you have to, which is a bit silly.
They're called GCSEs here.
Yeah,
which you do at the end of year 11 of school.
So So you keep counting, don't you? So like we'd have. So for us it'd be, what's it, 6 and 6 would be 12. Yeah, so it's the same thing. Yeah.
So like 16, 15, 16.
Yeah, easily. So like we'd have 6 years in primary and then 6 years in senior level. So it's the same thing. Like, yeah. But it's just, so you have your leaving cert, and then like that again, you're off to college or whatever, and it's not bloody for everybody. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At all. But like, and in secondary school, I had to help. Doing homework was a different level.
So what did you do? So you got, after your exams, what came then?
So after my exams, it was just before the recession happened in Ireland. So I was like, what am I going to do?
I haven't put, that's my phone, mate. I haven't put my phone. You keep talking.
You know what?
2 seconds. I'm going to airplane mode it.
Amateur.
Exactly. There we go. Wow, fancy doing that. It's a good job nobody rung me, because it would have cut
cut it off.
It would have cut the recording. We're back. I won't even edit that out as a punishment to myself.
It's natural,
That's what I'll
do. So like, sorry, so what was I doing homework? Yeah, that was an ordeal. But even with the homework, sorry to go off on a tangent, like, my mum, God love her, like, she'd be working and then doing the dinner and trying to do the homework. But it wasn't like my sister, like, she's a great job now, she worked for it. But like, she'd do her homework, then do my homework with me. So that's why we're so close. Like, so like, honestly, I'd be lost. Absolutely be lost without the family. So anyways, so I left them. And like, I don't have the same over here, but it was this phase. I think it was back Bebo days. Everyone was coming to personal trainer. Now, I do a bit of walking for the mindset. I'm definitely not a buff head or go to the gym or anything like that. So I was like, sure, I'll become a personal trainer.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to college to do that. And I think I lasted like a month and a half.
Yeah.
And it was a college where, it was called, I think it was PLC college. So it's kind of like, with your leaving cert, I think it's called a CEO form. So that's for main college. Then you have the PLC, which would be the back door.
Right.
So I went that way. But like, if you miss so many days, you're just told to leave, really.
You're booted.
Yeah. And at the time, like, I remember, Jesus, now it would be my first ever girlfriend, that kind of just ended, and then you're going to do this, and like, you don't know what you're at. So I just didn't have the head for college. Plus, you learn about bones, so I can barely bloody read it. Do you know what I mean? And in the college, they had a bit of a resource room, but not really, to help you with the reading. So you go into class, and it's like, Sean, name all these body parts. And like, Charlotte Margrique, I think, or something. I couldn't even read any of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that just wasn't me. So I think I got a letter saying, like, they're expelled because you haven't been there in a month and a half. So that was really it. Yeah, pretty much trying out cause we've been trying to be a personal trainer.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Yeah. So, because you ended up in retail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your story or my story?
No, mate, I'm just remembering what you said earlier.
So, no, my joke. So before then, so I left then college, and then I went back with the dad painting.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so that was just that brief period.
Yeah.
So all through my childhood, summers painting.
Your dad always been a painter?
Yeah, he's always been. It's like my grandfather, my uncle, a bit like your own situation. I was
going to say, because I'm third generation. My son's in, so he's fourth. So it sounds like you're in the same
situation. Like, so it'd be my granddad. Now I never got to meet my grandfather, but then be my uncle, and then my dad.
Right.
And then, like, obviously myself now. So what happened then? Well, yeah. So I did that during all summers. I just loved it. Like
Yeah.
I just loved watching my dad roll the walls, just the way it was covering and all. It was just, I don't know. I just always had a thing for it.
So out of interest, if that was the case, if you always loved it, why didn't you go straight from school
Because
to that?
I suppose college, and that's the norm.
Mm.
And bear in mind, my dad said to me loads of times, "You should get into this and take over my company one day." You know, obviously he's not known decorating. That's my little baby.
Mm.
But he was like, I was like, "Oh no, I'll see," because you're kind of just going with the rat trap, isn't it? Everyone's doing this the way it should be going.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sorry, rat race, not rat trap. I don't know what we're saying there.
Same thing, mate. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was that. So then I went to college, and then I said to my dad, like, and I wasn't in a good space in a sense. And I said to him, I was like, I don't want to do this. And I had to laugh. He went into the college to tell him that I won't come back. And they're like, oh, he was expelled like 2 months ago. I just never told him. Like, so he came out and he's like, you fucking listen, he should have told me that. So then, yeah, I went working with my dad for probably about 1.5 years to try to start my apprenticeship properly.
Yeah.
But then the recession came. So I'm not too good on dates. When roughly that was 2015, 14.
Was that when Ireland went over to the Euro or before?
I think it went over because they were kind of pretty much saving their ass. Yeah. So it was around that period. It was a good while ago now that I think about it. Probably 2014, maybe 2015. So he pretty much like, look, would have kept me on, but like he's trying to survive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I went working in retail then for a good few years. Thank God, yeah. So started off in Super Quinn, just gone. That's long gone. That was an Irish company, it was a great company, and then they changed over to Super Value. So I was there for, oh God, I say about 5-6 years, like, because you end up in a circle, don't you?
Yeah.
When you're in that situation,
yeah,
most definitely. And it wasn't like on the shop floor, you'd have the banter, you wouldn't really give a shit. Then I was given responsibility, but then was when I started kind of going mad on the session, though.
Yeah,
mad on. Started kind of going out and.
How did you transition into that? Was that with the people you were working with, or?
I think so. Growing up, I'd always be mad just going for the cans of the weekend.
Yeah,
with my best friend, like, and we'd always do it, and you'd meet in the field. And it was the best banter. Then, even back then, I always felt I had to be the funniest one, looking for approval, and not maybe approval, maybe want to have the crack with me. It was sense back to when I was a kid. I think when I felt I didn't have that. That's the wrong word. I kind of felt maybe I tried to be on my own. Yeah, in a sense. Do you know what I mean? As a kid, you take these things up. Do you know when obviously parents separated, and you're like, oh God, I don't want to be on my own. So I kept making. Yeah, that was pretty it. So like, but we go out, like we'd be out drinking in the field, and I'd be like, at the time it was Mitsubishi's, it was like little e-tablets. So I'd take one for the crack. And I'd be climbing the trees, and I thought it was hilarious, but it's fucking stupid. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But you're doing it because you feel like this group loves me now for this.
Yeah, so you're acting up for the acceptance.
Exactly, yeah. And I've done that for a lot, like, for a
Do you know what, mate? I mean, again, fucking amateur psychology, but I would imagine with the situation when you were a youngster, but also with having to go to that different school and be moved around from different groups.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Trying to fit in would have been like...
It's hard because...
trigger, wouldn't it?
I would... I'm not saying I talk common, I don't think so, but I talk different to my brother and my sister because they stayed in one school in the suburb, and I'm going to school with people from all different areas.
Yeah.
So I probably a bit more of a twang in my voice. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, and it's funny because you're getting bullied in one school, then you go to the other school, and it's like, oh, you talk different to us. Yeah. And I didn't get bullied afterwards because I started actually taking up boxing, so it wouldn't ever happen again to me. Yeah. But it's just, you kind of, you don't know if you're coming or going. And it's hard, like, because you're kind of like trying to fit in. Then missing school as well. Like, I got my operation for the kidney when I was in secondary school. So I went past that part. So then you're missing more time out of school.
I think the thing is as well, I'd be right to say, I mean, England's got a big drinking culture. Yeah. But I think Ireland has got a bigger drinking culture.
I think it's because it's just known.
Yeah.
And I find, like, don't get me wrong, like, and now I'll still go out on tomorrow evening, and tonight I'll probably have one or two. It's known when to stop. Yeah. Does that make sense? And then, and then what I kind of say to myself is, well, tomorrow I'm going to be hungover, and Mr. Anxiety is going to pop his head in. So I need to be like, do I want that? Or, do you know, now I have coping mechanisms now, which I do. Like last time I was extremely hungover, I got up, went for a walk up the mountains, and I felt great then. Yeah. Instead of lying in bed and then eating a big bag of Doritos or something.
Yeah, I've been there, mate.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not hell. Like, it's, and you're like, oh, scrap. And then especially when you have your own business, you're going up Monday to go to work, customers are ringing you, and you're trying to cut in even. and you're like, oh, I don't have the head for this. So you can't do both.
It's a tough one, mate. I mean, I think the realization that I personally have come to, because I've gone through stages of drinking. Like I say, my dad was a drinker, so I've always been very conscious of not going over that edge and relying on it. But I think the conclusion I've come to, because I still drink, like I still like a drink, I
Yeah, of
still
course,
enjoy
yeah.
a drink. Now I tend to only drink in celebration,
I'd be the same,
or
yeah.
like like
Occasions.
tonight I might have a couple, but then
Yeah.
I know I got to get up early tomorrow. Tomorrow night I'll probably have a few more, but it's a celebration of coming
Of
together.
course, yeah.
What I really avoid now at all costs is if something goes wrong, if I've had a bad week or I'm stressed, is that the compulsion to reach for the bottle, as it were, to mask shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've had a bad week, have a few beers to take my mind off it.
Yeah.
I
It's your
really
triggers.
try and avoid that.
Yeah. So like, okay, this is the last tangent. Well, I say that now, but during the summer, like me and my girlfriend broke up. I now ended grand, no negativity there at all. But I'm not going to drink for this month.
Yeah.
Because not saying I ever go back to, which I'll talk about in a while, but I said if I drink now, I'm going to be not motivated to do fucking anything.
Yeah.
And you're drinking because you have when you're in a relationship, your time is together. Then you're on your own. So you feel this time, I'll sit and have one or two cans. I'll go out with the lads I haven't seen in a while. Then it just rolls over.
Yeah,
So you have to be so I'm very mindful of this now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You kind of have to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, I mean, look, the construction industry as a whole, there's a big drink and drug problem.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we work fucking hard. And Monday to Friday, it's hard graft, and then people party hard as well.
Yeah.
And it does add to the problem because, like you said, like you mentioned then, you know that the anxiety is coming with a hangover. I'm the same. So
Yeah.
I get dead. I get emotional and anxious when I'm hungover. My head don't think right.
No,
I think
of course.
everything's going wrong. So I'm aware of all this now. But the dangerous time is when you're not aware of it.
Yeah.
When you see alcohol or drugs as a crutch, shit week, shit problems, relationship problems, and the way to cope with that is to turn to
have a drink.
Drink
Just
and
the
drugs.
problem's still there in the morning. They're just doubled.
Exactly. Yeah, they feel a lot
But
worse.
Don't get me wrong. Like I didn't turn around, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I didn't turn around when they go to say to myself, "Oh, I don't want to do that." You have to go through loads of shit. Then to realize, okay, now I know not to do that.
Yeah.
But what are we talking about?
Drink and drugs at the minute, Sean.
Yeah. Sorry. So. I worked in retail. So so no, you're saying does that where it came? No, I just started realizing because you're going out and work nights out all the time, and then you're kind of like drinking more, and then you're kind of getting like, what would that have been? That would become early 20s. Then at the same time as working the retail, I got involved in other stuff. Was talking about now as well, and I kind of felt like one was rolling into another. Like there was times when I go into work, and like you'd be not steaming drunk, but you got no sleep.
Yeah.
And you just, I remember one time I fell asleep in the bed. So we'd have a baler room for doing the cardboard.
Yeah.
I remember we went down for a kip. My boss was like, "What are you doing?" I'm there sleeping on the thing of cardboard. Like,
It's so bad. Like, I've done. I think early 20s for young men is a fucking danger zone because there's a few things, mate. You feel invincible.
Oh yeah.
And it's like that. The lad culture thing is rife at that. I don't know whether it's the same now, but it was when I was in my early 20s. I worked as a bailiff when I was in my early 20s. And some of the stuff, I mean, we'd work until 7 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. Then we'd go out. We used to work away, so we'd start have nights away. Yeah. We'd be in pubs and clubs till 2, 3 in the morning. Then I'd be knocking doors at 7 a.m. Still pissed from the night before. And things would kick off. You'd have the police called, and I remember I'd be stood there thinking, I hope I don't get breathalyzed here. You know what I mean? Because I'd still be well and truly intoxicated from the day before.
Definitely.
And that become normal. So I can imagine.
Does, No, it becomes normality because for starters, obviously I wasn't happy, which got worse then, but I didn't realise why I wasn't happy. But there was. I remember one time on a Christmas night out, I used to work in the bakery at one section, and I went in, I was hanging into the bakery and doing the mince pies, and I wrapped apple pies as mince pies and vice versa. Fuck man, the minute complaints come in the next day, everyone opened their mince pie and it was apple in it. Like, do you know what I mean? I just didn't give a shit. Like,
you don't really at that age. I mean, one of the things I don't want to go past it because you just said then you got into some other stuff around about that time. What was that other stuff?
So, that's just hard to talk about because a lot of people wouldn't know that are close. Well, close to me would, but then I got involved in like football hooligan scene. Yeah, big time.
Mate, I think a lot of young lads do.
Yeah.
You know, quite a few lads that I know got caught up in that.
Mm.
Where we are here in the Midlands, obviously, there's a few rival football
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
You've got Birmingham City, you've got Aston Villa, you've got Wolverhampton Wanderers, West Bromwich Albion, all within
Everyone.
a very small cycle.
Yeah.
And a lot of my mates all support different teams. So
Yeah.
I've never been caught up in it myself, mainly because I'm a Liverpool fan.
Okay.
So it's too far for me to travel and get caught up in anything.
Yeah.
But I know lads that did.
Yeah, definitely. And, like, I'm trying to think now how that even came about. So when I was younger in school, someone brought me to my first match. At this time, obviously I'm not going to mention the team's name. They played on the other side of the city. So you'd be on the bus going to this, and this when the bus windows get put in. And yeah, by the opposite team. It was when you tell people these stories, like, to me, I'm kind of like, oh, it's a bit normal, but it's not bloody normal. Like, so the windows would get put in, and the adrenaline just takes over. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was mad. But then when I was working in retail, I just wasn't happy. And then at the time, my best friend was like, "Oh, I'm going to a game." Now, he was never really involved as such at the start. I was like, "Oh yeah, feck it, like, I'll go with you." And then I can't remember the first ruck. So as in a row, like, kicked off, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I kind of missed this." Do you know what I mean? And then it just kind of spiraled. So you're going to games, the adrenaline. Like, even now, like, I'm like, could you remembering certain things?
Yeah.
Adrenaline taking over. Then it was the whole fashion side of thing as well, which I loved.
It's a whole culture,
It's a whole culture,
isn't it? Yeah.
It's literally, so like, you would have supporters, right? So people think supporters are just one thing. It's not. You'd have scarfers. So they'd be like, say yourself, Liverpool. You'd wear a Liverpool scarf, whatever. So you're not looking for anything. Then you'd have the ultras that would do the drums and the music and stuff. They wouldn't be looking for anything, but if it happened, they're there. And then you'd have the casuals, which we'd actually ring people prior and meet up in certain locations and
arrange for the fights.
Yeah.
So was it about the football for you, or was it?
You're watching that. In fact, League of Ireland is not the best. Like, it's do you know what I mean? It's grand. Like, I think for me, it was at the time, it was the camaraderie. Is that the right word? That, like, you're doing this stuff, and then these people are praising you.
It's that acceptance again, mate, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is, and it took me a long time to realise it. Took me, like, I say I was involved in that stuff for about 5-6 years, like, and I'm blessed. It was certain situations, like, obviously no convictions or anything like that. Thank God, thank God. But there was one time, when the gas station, they just give me a write off, and then you go for an interview, and you have nothing to your record because, like, look what I have now, like. But you're not thinking that far forward. No. You're thinking, waking up tomorrow at 5 a.m, going to a job I can't really stand, but I can't wait to go in the bag later on.
Yeah.
And then that's exactly what it was. But you're going to the pubs, say, like, near where the ground is, and you're meeting, like, so my nickname for years, not a lot of people call me now, was Nolan. I don't know, I can't remember who even came up with that. It's like, Nolan, yeah, right, do you want a pint? And you're like, oh, this person likes me. This person, like, because I was so out of it last week, I did X, Y, and Z. Everyone, what do you call it? Give me a appraisal.
Yeah.
And you feel like, oh, this is great. This is acceptance. Didn't have this for a while. And that's what it is. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, talk about it now to yourself. You do get a bit embarrassed, but you shouldn't get embarrassed by your past or have regrets. I don't think so.
Nah, mate. And there's a degree of acceptance. Like, you got to, like, lad culture's a thing, and things were different years ago. Some of the stuff I got up to, mate. I mean, I look back now, I still think it's, like, some of it is funny. Some of it is funny, but there would have been people that would have been affected by some of the stuff.
No, but that's exactly it. So I remember, like, we would, to be times when the opposite team would be coming, and you'd be like, "Did you there?" And you're running through car parks with people doing their shopping, and, like, I don't know if you ever, obviously you've never been at one, but you might see in the films. I know you have, like, likes of, what's it, Football Factory, Green Street, and it is, people look down that's loud as shite, but it kind of isn't in a sense. Like, if you say you're walking down the high street now, and you see the team, next minute there's fucking 50 glass bottles going up in the air trying to catch, and, like, I'd be beside people getting them in the head and be blood going everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, that's another thing. The amount of money I spent on bloody designer clothes, that would be just wrecked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I like, when you break it down, not a lot of it makes sense. You know what I mean? Because, like you say, there's a dress code.
Yeah.
There's a fashion. I don't know whether it's over there, but the Stone Island.
No, so now, I wouldn't, now you have every Tom, Dick, and Harry wearing Stone Island. So Stone Island's kind of gone a bit. I haven't been to a match probably 2 years before COVID. So you're looking at maybe 5 years now, 6 years. But Stone Island, and so you'd have Stone Island, you'd have CP Company.
CP, yeah.
Like, I still have CP jackets in the house, spent 600 quid on them. I'm not going to get rid of them. You'd have your Gazelles, your Sambas, your Adidas. Like, and you know, collar up and all. Like, and to me, it was that. And then, like, I love the mod music. I love the jam. I love all. So it was, and then you have indie rock. So it was all came in together.
Yeah.
You had the music. You had the lads.
Culture,
you had everything.
Mate. Whole culture.
Yeah.
Whole culture.
But then it got to the stage where you're saying, this is definitely taking over my life, and then people who you consider as friends, not so much when things hit the fan.
Did you ever get yourself in any situations that got a bit hairy?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there'd be times like when you'd say after a match and you might get separated and there's 3 of you and there's fucking 20 of them and you're just like, right. And thankfully then sort of the guards might pull up or whatever and discourage you. But like a lot of times now, like there was times like, obviously I can't give too much, information, but there was times like when there was 3 or 4 of us and you'd be like about 10 lads running after you and you had to stand your ground as much as you can. Because if you don't, my Christ, like then you get off everyone else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there was like and the only person in the family that knew a lot about this was my dad. Like he said to me, like, you need to fucking stop. But I think he kind of felt then was like, you just, I suppose, decide yourself.
Yeah.
It's like anybody. Like if you're a gargler and I say to you, stop drinking, you're not going to stop unless you want to stop. So I think that's what he would try and do with me a lot of the time. And then when things got really bad, I was saying to him, he said, yeah, but exactly. He said, look around you. Look at X, Y, and Z, the age they are, and what do they have? Nothing. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, definitely. But then you don't listen. Then the next day you go out and you get a bag of Coke and then you're straight away on it again. But I did find though, like, I got mad onto doing the bag, which a lot of people don't really know about. Like, I only told my mother about 2 weeks ago about it, because obviously she'd be listening to the podcast. But I'd be doing the bag constantly.
So just to anyone that's listening that don't know the terminology, so obviously the bag, cocaine.
Cocaine, yeah.
Yeah, so to a point where you were reliant on it, like addiction-wise?
No, I wouldn't say reliant on it. I just, well, maybe, like, you're getting your wages on a Friday when I was working in retail. Going on Friday night saying, right, even if you weren't playing, you're meeting the lads. If there wasn't a match on. So you're saying, I need 100 quid for a bag. Then I'm going to spend 200 on gargle. And if I go out the next night, so you're spending nearly about 500 like a weekend, like sometimes. Yeah. But I kind of felt like you're doing it because you're getting that buzz. Like, don't get me wrong, and no matter what anybody says, if you're standing against a team and they want to kick the shit out of you, you can have the adrenaline, but you need to go a bit over the adrenaline. And the Coke will do that. Because no matter what, like, and anyone can say, I would have done this, I would have done that. When you're facing someone that wants to kick the shit out of you, it's your body does freeze sometimes.
Yeah, it's fight or flight, mate. Yeah.
Most definitely.
I can't resonate, mate. Hand on heart, I've never touched Coke.
Yeah.
I've been around it a lot, because the one thing you realise when you hit being an adult is just how many people do Coke.
Oh, yeah, no,
it's like fucking
but even
rough.
now, like,
yeah,
even now.
Absolutely.
And when you're in like the Jacks and all, like, you just sniff. But you know, like, I see it now, people come over to be talking shit, like, oh, get away.
Yeah.
Just out of it, like. But that, so you could say dependent in a sense. Like on Friday night, I was thinking of it. Not thinking of it, but it was a given.
You ever get to the point where you were doing it at home?
There was 2 occasions where I bought, like, so you buy it on the Rock, and I was going to a wedding, I think, at the time, and the wedding was full of anxiety for a reason going to this wedding. Yeah. And I was breaking it up, and I was saying, right, this for this bag, this day, that for that day. And I was like, oh, let's have a little taster. Right. And then your mom's like, dinner's ready, love, and you're going downstairs, you're like, wired nearly, like. Yeah. But I still didn't think it was a problem. Definitely still didn't think it was a problem. And then, God, I think it was, obviously I can't tell. I can't say sort of, you know what I mean? Yeah, like, because I'd be getting the knocks on the door. Yeah. But there was certain situations near the end of the time where it was kicking off and people were like being left on the ground with blood coming out of their head. And I, like, from the opposite team, bottles or whatever. I remember I brought people to a hospital one time and I remember sitting there and then the opposite team came into A&E ward and fuck me, man. Nearly shot myself, like. Yeah. So I was trying to be a good fella bringing this guy to A&E. Who I didn't even know, someone else's friend. But everyone else fucked off and left him. It's in the hospital. This other team walked in because they had someone who something really bad happened to them. And I was sitting there and then thankfully another lad who I knew came in. I was blessing myself. Plus I'm on the other side of the city. And I remember that time I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. I need to get out of this.
Madness, mate, isn't it? I remember, so I always played Sunday League. Yeah. So I always loved football. I played Sunday League from the age of 8 till 30 when my body just said no. Yeah. When my son started playing football at the same time. But a lot of the lads I used to play with, mate, in the team I used to play with, was split down the middle. So half
Oh,
of them
really?
were Birmingham City, half of them were Villa.
Yeah.
And it always kicks off between them two.
Oh, yeah.
Mate. And a couple of them would be involved in various bits. And they'd be talking and laughing and joking with each other as mates
Yeah.
about the fact that they were throwing bottles at each other.
It's mad, isn't it?
And then the other one's like, oh, yeah, I saw them coming over. And then one going, yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hold on, lads. Like, you're best of mates. But yesterday, you're trying to kill each other.
No, because I think it becomes a normality. Like, it definitely does. Because I was talking to a fella that I don't think he's really involved anymore. And he was saying to me, I was doing a work for him, actually, a job for him. He said to me, when we were young getting into it, the older lads, not that you're groomed in a sense, but they're like, this is what you do and this is great and all. And you're like, yeah, they're dead right. It is great. But it fucking isn't.
No.
And like, I have no problem even saying that now. Like, it just, look, I don't regret it at all. You should never have regrets. But I feel like, I don't know, I would never be caught dead in that situation again. No. And I wouldn't have what I have now.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But there was, especially on away days. So away days going out first would be great. So you'd be on a train or you hire a coach. Great crack. Go some pub in the middle of nowhere, wreck the place and have the crack. But then always coming home, if we didn't meet a team, you'd have so-and-so want to have it off each other because the restaurant
hadn't got it out. Yeah.
And that used to always fucking happen. I'm like, and the next day, oh, we're all a family. It's like, but how are you? Do you know what I mean? Like, how are you a family? Like,
yeah.
If you're looking to have an off with each other.
Mate, there's a lot behind it. I mean, I've studied evolutional psychology and things like that. And we're tribal creatures, mate.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
always searching for tribes in everything we do. I mean, fuck me, man. Break down the construction industry. It gets tribal. You've got decorators. We think we're the best trade. Plumbers think they're the best trade.
Oh, yeah.
Plumbers stick together. Sparkies stick together.
Yeah.
Decorators stick together. There's banter between us. All right, we don't get into fights generally
No,
about who's what, you know.
Yeah.
Don't know who would win that one, actually. Which trade's winning the scrap? You got scaffolders, we'll leave them to
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? It gets tribal. Same with football teams. Same with so many things in life. Same with areas you live.
But everything.
You know?
It's like even, no matter what anyone says, we're all mammals. If you're, let's say for argument's sake, if you were single now and we're in a pub and you see a woman and you're like, she's a bit of all right, but she likes me. You're like, what? Why? It's the mammal thing again.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's with everything in life.
We forget sometimes, Sean, that we're just animals, mate.
Yeah.
We might be top of the food chain. We might be the most evolved, so we think, but we are just animals.
Oh, definitely.
And
You
we
see
have
it all the
those.
time.
Yeah. Once, one of the key things for me has been learning to understand myself. Because I went through a lot of things when I was in my early 20s, a lot of madness, a lot of things I was around, a lot of close calls, which I now understand, but I didn't then.
Yeah.
But I know why I acted like I did then.
Like myself, yeah.
Now.
Yeah, definitely.
But I've been through it. And like you said, certain things, like my bailiff years is a key one. I always say the same thing. I don't regret doing it. I'd never do it again. I wouldn't advocate for like my son to do it.
Yeah, of course.
But there were the situations I put myself in, things that I did that looking back, fucking...
It's mad, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, definitely. And like we were pricing a job down where this area where our rivals were. I was in the car with my dad and we're just driving. We had to start fucking sweating.
Yeah.
By this lane where lots of would have happened. And he said, I said, yeah. I remember talking to one of my good friends about it afterwards. She said, just PTSD. I was like, is it? She goes, well, if you're going past somewhere where you see someone getting the head kicked off them or you or whatever, you have to sweating because you're remembering it.
Yeah, to a degree, mate.
No, I wasn't. She's not scared or anything like that, but it just shows you,
your body remembers.
Yeah,
your body remembers, and it's like people talk about muscle memory. PTSD is just memory. It's just memory.
Yeah,
it's your brain locating an experience to a place and starting to do that. Yeah,
it's mad. Like it's fascinating. I think
mate. That's why I've studied psychology.
Yeah,
exactly.
It really
that.
is.
It started off with me with a desire to understand myself.
Yeah,
and then it turned into a desire to understand us, people. Like people.
We are so like, I think humans. We are very interesting. I think.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Like, that's what this whole podcast is, mate. It's literally just talking to different people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in the 50s in terms of episodes now, and I learn something of everyone I sit with.
Yeah.
You know, it's incredible. I find people fascinating.
But your whole thing of like, let's talk, but like let's listen. I love listening to people.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, I never thought of that, or I never knew that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I just find it fascinating.
100%, man. But with your journey through the football hooliganism, what was there? Was there like a point something happened where you went enough?
Yeah, what happened was I was still kind of going, but easing off. And then I remember I was sitting in one night and my brother was there, and he said to me, I'm going to town, to the George. The George is a gay bar in town in Dublin. I said, all right. He said, do you want to come with me? And I said, I don't know if I've been to that now, okay. He's like, no, come on. You'll enjoy it. I met him and his friends. And I was like, fuck me. These people are loving life and dancing. Not like he looked at me, that's my fucking taxi. None of this shit. Just enjoying life. So then what happened then was I kind of started going out more with my little brother. And I think it was leading up to our first Pride in Dublin. He brought me to Pride. And I just seen a whole different culture of how just, like people being happy for being happy.
Didn't need to end the night on a fight.
No.
Yeah.
So definitely. So I said to him loads of times, it wasn't for him and his friends, like gay community. I don't know, would I have changed my life? Don't get me wrong. They weren't saying, oh, you should need to do this. It was just me seeing a different way of people being.
Yeah.
And that's why like, I celebrate Pride every year with him, because I feel like if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't know where the fuck I'd be. And I said to him one time, he got really upset about it. I was like, no, but you don't understand. So you show me that, change my way around it. But at the same time, I brought him to a gig actually in town, and some of the old rovers, shit, can you cross that bit out?
What, sorry?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm saying the name of the team.
Yeah, it's fine, mate. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, grand. Sorry. Yeah. Well, if you didn't hear it, maybe nobody else heard it.
I didn't pick it up, mate. But I'll,
just there, yeah, sweet. But okay, rebound. So we met up and so there was lads we used to hang around with, football lads, at this gig. I was there with Kieran. And I remember two things. One thing was, one of them turned around to me and goes to me, I told the lads your brother's here and he's gay and they're all cool with it. And I was like, well, that's a very small mentality they have. And I never realised that before. Why the fuck wouldn't you be cool with it?
Yeah.
He's not going to like dry humping your fucking leg.
It's like giving you permission.
Yeah. So that was the first thing. Then as the gig was going on, some poor fecker was walking by and one of them hit him a loaf over something. And Kieran goes to me, God love, he goes to me, because Kieran would never seen any violence. He goes to me, I think he only get sick. I was like, you know what, we'll go elsewhere. Then I was just like, yeah, it really isn't me. This isn't me anymore. Now I understand, maybe people are out of their heads and coke now, no excuse. And I was like, that's it for me. And that was leading up, I think I was 28, so it was a good bit before, probably 2 years before COVID. And I just said, I'm just stopped. I just started hanging out with my brother and his gay friends then. And I was like that was really it for me, definitely. When I seen it through someone else's eyes.
Yeah, fair play, mate. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely was. And bear in mind, like, it took me a while to stop with the drink, and I kind of stopped doing the bag around then as well, because I got to the stage where I don't know if you ever had it. I've only ever had 3 blackouts. No, I mean, you go out, you remember being in the pub, and then you wake up in bed, and you don't know how you got, like, proper, not like, oh yeah, I remember that now. I mean, proper, like, you close your eyes and it's black.
Yeah,
and it's fucking scary. And I remember my dad even, I said something to this person, and I didn't know about it. About 3 months after, my dad goes to me, by the way, after so and so, you know, you said this to that person. I said, no, I didn't. I said, no, you did. And you feel this low. I was like, then there's definitely a problem here. Do you know what I mean? Definitely. And I text the person, apologize, and there's no hard feelings and that. But you feel fucking nothing, man. You just feel like a scumbag.
Yeah.
And I'm not a scumbag. Do you know what I mean? Definitely not. And at the time, even in the retail shop where I was working, my best friend, like, and she's back in my life now, which I'm delighted about. But we were such best friends. But she goes to me, she goes, this isn't you. And I was like, no, it is. It's grass. No, I'm the lads. She goes, no, this isn't you. When you're sober, you're such a loving, caring person. This isn't you going having fucking throwing bottles and having rows with people. So what are you doing? But I still didn't know why I was doing it. Do you know?
It's interesting, mate.
It really is. Like,
it is.
There's some people in my life now, and they know who they are. No, we're shouting out any names. But they know, they really changed my life.
It's so easy to get caught up, mate. I think when you're a young lad, when you're impressionable, and you're searching for that thing.
Oh yeah, of course, most definitely.
And the problem is, and again, this comes down to that self-awareness. So many people aren't really aware what they're searching for. No. I was the same.
No,
you know, and it took a long time to work out, what am I after? Like, why am I doing this? What am I after here? And then you break it down and you start to take it all back. And there's that, the old fucking adage of, oh, something happened when you were a kid. And it is. That's the thing. It gets turned into a bit of a joke, you know, like childhood trauma. Yeah, but it's so true, man.
It is. And as I said, you like a great family upbringing, but there's little things you'd see or hear, and it stays in your mindset, and you put it back there. You don't realise.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. So that's when you said how to stop the football stuff. That's what it was, literally that. And then I still kind of hung around. I still hung around in that area where, like, so like it'd be local team, like, and then I found myself, I was away from it. I was seeing X, Y, and Z. We go into the Jacks. It's a platter. Like, Coke has to be the only drug everyone bloody shares.
Yeah.
Like, like you buy it because it's 120 quid, and you're like, do you want some? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't do that with your pizza.
Do you know what, mate? I think, Sean, with that, nobody wants to do it on their own, do they? That's the thing.
That could be it. Yeah. I never thought that actually. It's mad. Like, it's the only drug you buy, and you just share it out to everyone.
Well, if you were the only person in a social environment with Coke and you were the only one doing it, there's a chance you'd look and think, oh, hold on, why is it just me?
Yeah, definitely.
There's something wrong here. But by sharing it out, you're bringing everyone into your world. You're making it right, and you're creating your little tribe again.
Yeah.
You're all doing the same thing. It's your club. It's your people. Because you do the same thing.
It is. It's definitely. And then you go to the Jacks, and it's just there. And there was one occasion where I slipped back, like, and I was still, before I got completely away, so it was still pre-COVID. I didn't go to any games anymore. And it was a big match on, and I went. And I was so fucking annoyed myself. Went back to the pub, and I haven't seen ages. Yada. Have a toke, because I was drunk. And then I bought a bag, and then I woke up, and I was fucking down for ages, like. And I was just like, what? No. So now I realize, okay, to go forward, you have to completely get away from the surroundings and people. Now, I'm wrong. Like, some of them, if I see now, I still talk to. I'm not bad-mouthing by any means. I just kind of felt like, okay, how would I say it? If you're an alcoholic, you want to stop drinking. You're not going to go to Witherspoons. Do you know what I mean?
To hang around, yeah, of course, mate, yeah.
So because these people, now, I've one or two friends now might do it, and they do ask me beforehand, if we're going to a gig, do you mind? I'm like, no, just keep it yourself. And if I get pissed, just keep it. Because when you get drunk, man, you're, what would you call it? Like, anything.
Your inhibitions go, don't they?
Like, temptation, not saying I ever would ever again. Like, I'd hope I never would. So that's what I'm saying. I hope I never would again. But if I'm drunk, if temptation is there, it's very hard to say no. So I'd rather not have that even anywhere near me and enjoy my pints. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I love say never ever, but no one can ever answer that.
No, you're right. But then again, mate, that's your coping mechanism. You know where your triggers are in terms of if you have a drink, you're more likely to want the bag. By removing yourself from the people that do that, you're just putting a barrier in between you and that.
No, 100%.
Which is perfectly natural, mate. It's normal.
It is. And then, yeah, it is. And I'm not paying over the same brush. I have friends now that would go on. I'm like, yeah, no, you do you. But they know. But in my circle now, especially since after COVID, man, I'd have like five friends, and that's all I need.
Yeah. Funny, isn't it, mate? They say as you get older, like, your circle gets smaller, and it's so true.
Yeah, it is. Because I always remember even this whole thing of acceptance. During that time, I kept saying so-and-so when I was still involved, I'll be 30 this next year, and will you come? Because I was always like, oh, I don't have an empty room. Then COVID came. Should we give a fuck? No one could do anything anyway.
Yeah.
But I was like, why do I keep seeking approval from these people, from anybody? And it took me, which I get into now, during COVID, and which was my saving grace in a sense.
Yeah.
Definitely was. So we're talking about COVID now.
Yeah. You can talk about that, mate. We're fine on that. Yeah.
But like, so that was that, and then I was still dabbling, even though I was away from the football. And I was like, no, that's go away from that situation. So I did. And then COVID came. No, sorry, I'm not skipping even when I started off my own business. Sorry. So after I left the retail, I said, right, I'm going to go 100, straight and start knowing decorating.
Well, that's a big jump, mate.
It was, because I am lucky that I was still at home, that I had that comfort blanket that, like, you're not paying rent,
Okay.
So I was lucky in that sense, and I always say it to them. And my parents, like, thankfully not yet, touch wood, but if I was ever fucking down, or, you know what I mean, like, a money sense. But my dad always said to me, and I know everyone's different, I never ran before I could walk. Like, when I started knowing decorating, I left retail. I went and bought a white Yaris. It was 98.
Yeah,
man, and the length of me, like, so I went to white Yaris. The seat's going the whole way back, and the ladder out the window, like, and that's what I went around in, like, for about a year and a half, 2 years. Then I got enough money saved up, and I bought the first van, like.
Mate, you know what? People throw shade at people for working out of estate cars or whatever. Oh, it's unprofessional. No. Everyone got to start somewhere. Exactly. I'm 24 years deep, mate, and I took over a family business. And my first thing that I did, I started working out the back of an old Rover 214, which was like an old, like, Hyacinth Bouquet car for
Really? Yeah,
anyone who
yeah,
remembers that.
yeah.
But literally, car with a boot.
Yeah,
But that was how I had to get
yeah, of
started,
course.
because you don't know straight away that you can
No,
just go
and then
into
sure enough,
business.
like I had to get the van, paid it off. Then this fucking disease comes, COVID.
Mm.
So now, if I got that on loan, I would have been fucked.
How did that treat you in Ireland? Because I know like lockdowns were so
So
different in
yeah,
Scotland to England. Because for me, so just for comparison, I was never busier, mate.
yeah.
When COVID hit, I didn't have a day off work.
See,
I was full on.
wait. So with me, so I'm high risk
Mm.
with the kidney
Oh, of
problems.
course, yeah.
Yeah, and I have high blood pressure because of the kidney, which high blood pressure doing coke is not a good idea.
Living life
I
on the
am
wild side,
blessed
mate.
that I haven't had a bloody stroke or anything.
Yeah.
And now that I think back on it, like I used to walk around a pub with a pint glass full of vodka and Red Bull and doing coke, like it's fucking ridiculous. Like now that you think back on it, so
No
I'm
wonder you went
blessed.
into fucking fighting people. It was like, you got to get out somewhere.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, definitely. But no. So that's sorry. So COVID. So that was that. So COVID came, and I was like, "Fuck!" So I can't work. Do you know what I mean? Because the government's saying you don't leave the house, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And I understand. Look, no one knew what was happening. You could go into everything. They shouldn't have said this, shouldn't have said that. Especially in Ireland, I don't know what's like over here. Some scaremongering, I get, but I don't think anyone knew how to handle it. I really don't. So that happened. So I have the new van outside. Well, new to me, it was 2016. And I was like, right, I can't do it. So, like, my ma was delighted. I did the whole house, like, up and bottom about 3 times. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but what happened then was I started. So, my brother and my sister were working because the jobs they work from home. And
Yeah.
my mom was, I think she wasn't working and she was working. She still worked in markets at the time. So, she was, because your food wasn't essential and all that jazz. No, sorry, she wasn't working at the time. So, it was just me just doing the house. And then what happened then was, I slipped somewhat into old ways, not as in doing the bag, but drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still obviously drink now, but Kieran introduced me to pink gin. So we'd have the big bottle of pink gin and the 7-Up, and we'd polish off a bottle each. And I think because everyone's doing it at the start, wine, the weather was gorgeous, and you're just drinking.
Mate, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what, Sean? I think there's at least 3 people that have sat there, or that incarnation of the chair, and have said that that an alcohol problem started in COVID.
Yeah.
Because of that, because it was this incredible summer. We had amazing weather. Everyone all of a sudden felt they were on holiday. It was this weird time where
It was, yeah. And you
the
thought it's going to
government-
pass.
Yeah, government were paying grants. You got people on furlough, and all of a sudden it became exciting. I can crack open a bottle of wine at 9 a.m.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. And that happened. There was some funny stories, which I'll tell you tomorrow night. We'd be here all day with the drinking, but that was happening a lot. And then I remember I was painting Kieran's room, and he goes, "I just wasn't myself." I said, "You all right, love?" Like, he's a real little owl. Like, "You all right, love?" And he's the best. I said, "You all right, love?" And I was like, "No, I don't feel good. So I'm not happy. I thought I'd be happy because I stopped doing the drugs.
Yeah.
Now I'm drinking a bit. Now I wasn't drinking every day. Jeez, I mean weekends, like." But he goes to me, "Oh yeah," and he goes to me, "Do you ever listen to the podcasts?" Shit, I can't remember the name of it now.
The Talking Tradesman.
Yeah, you weren't at the time. Practicing Human.
Okay.
It's from a monk. Started it up.
Right.
He was trained to be a Buddhist monk and then left. It's Corey something is his name. Yeah, Practicing Human. That's exactly what it is. Karen got to ever listen to this podcast. So Karen would be really into the universe and everything, and that's what And I said, okay, we'll give it a go. So I started listening to it. Listening to all these, Asian stories, and then next thing I knew, I'm buying books about Buddhism and getting real into it and learning when the Buddha. Because I always thought, which I think everyone thinks, the laughing Buddha is the Buddha, but he's not.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, he's a big fat fat. So no, that's not actually not the Buddha. That's not the real Buddha. So I started getting into Buddhism a lot. Yeah, during COVID, then not straight away.
I still did it myself, mate.
Yeah, that's I remember I heard you talking about before. So I started getting into Buddhism a lot and like looking up YouTube stories and the history of Buddhism. And like when you think of Buddhism, you think almost after Christianity. It was so so before Christianity, like. So I found that very interesting. And then I kind of thought like, oh, what's this mindfulness that y'all keep talking about? Then I found myself meditating. Getting up in the morning, I started working out. So I bought on a good bit of weight during COVID. Then I started coming every morning doing workouts, and then I do a bit of meditating and just walking around trying to just ground myself and take everything in. So for me, it was my saving grace in that sense. Then I started to kind of realize certain things from when I was younger that I was kind of saying, like, what was I doing X, Y, and Z? I didn't need this approval. I didn't
Mm.
need that approval. Do you know what I mean? That sort of way. So yeah, and I'm still into it. Like I just the Kadam Buddhists. I don't know if you ever heard of them. It's a modern day Buddhism.
No.
Kadam. It was actually founded in the UK. I think it was in the 80s.
Okay.
Just the same thing again. It's still the same beliefs, but there's a place at home now that I go to. So I go back to it every Wednesday, and you just go in.
Okay.
And they do different, like, say every month can be a different thing. It'd be like maybe letting go of the past or open up mindfulness. You just go and an hour meditate, and it's just
Yeah.
proper, just relax. Like,
I'm not a Buddhist, but I'm such a fan of Buddhism.
oh, I wouldn't say I am either. So
You know, like it's the only religion that makes any sense to me.
I think so, because you're just being with your own thoughts. And the whole thing with Buddhism is, I wouldn't say that I'm not practicing Buddha at all. God, I just tiptoe, as in like meditate. That's where it comes from, a mindfulness. But I just find they have everything right in the sense of you're not. So I remember the sage monk said to me at the time, I said, "Is this religion?" He said, "Well, it's a religion when the tax man comes looking." So that's a good shout.
Yeah.
But it's not really, because in Buddhist culture, like, you believe there's God, there is, there isn't, whatever your thoughts are. But it's more so like we talked about earlier on. You're driving in traffic, someone beeps you, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, no, and it's gone.
Doesn't matter.
Just let it go. This person could have someone sick at home, could have anything, or you just be a dickhead. Something to do with me.
Yeah.
This is my circle. This is my bubble.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do. And it's hard, but you have to keep practicing.
It's so powerful. It really is, mate. And that mindset of being able to think past your own thoughts and feelings, and like you say, if somebody does you wrong, to be able to go, well,
why did they do me wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, somebody bumps past you in the street and they got a mean face on, or then, like years ago, fight.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, now look and think, oh, you've probably had a shit day.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Carry on with my day. Don't affect me.
No one knows. Yeah. No one knows what's going on behind closed doors.
Minor irritation for 10, 15 seconds, and carry on with your day.
Exactly.
Or you can turn around, have a fight, and that'll ruin your day, your week, your month, your year. You know,
your life, if
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a power. It really is.
Really, yeah. No, definitely is. And like, I haven't. Sorry, I'm skipping here. But anyway, so during COVID, I did that, and then I couldn't work for like 3 years. And not even, like, I know you're saying you were so busy, but customers didn't want us in the house.
Okay.
So that was another thing. So it was like, obviously, thank God now the government were giving out the money, like, but as well as me being high risk, so I was told, Sean, you get COVID, you could die. I was like, Jesus Christ. Then you get the boosters.
Yeah.
Oh no, you still get COVID and you still die.
Yeah.
Like, okay, catch 22. And then you get the customers, okay, we come back working now. Oh, I don't want anyone in the house, love. I don't want anyone in the house, love. And you're kind of saying, okay. Yeah. And you had to, but bear in mind, like, I know obviously you would have had a solid foundation behind you. This time, Dad still had a big, because Dad was starting to kind of slow down, and I started on decorating. So I still knew. I didn't have a backlog of customers, in a sense.
I got very lucky with it, mate. When COVID first kicked off, I had 2 customers straight away ring me up and go, because I've normally got quite a wait list. So when COVID happened, I had 2 customers ring me up and go, Russ, we've got an empty house. We know you're normally really busy, but can you do it now?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so I did 2 back to back, and that took, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks. And then after that time period had gone, we knew a bit more, and it would come out that, you know, it was only people that were in certain categories that were particularly vulnerable. And I just had a couple of empty houses, a couple of exteriors, and by the time that period passed, it got to the stage where quite a lot of my customers were like, do you know what? You should come in, do that room, we'll stay out of the way. And I just got through it, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
And if anything, as I say, we got to a point where people weren't going on holiday, so there was more money, so people diverted it into the house.
It is.
I think at one stage, mate, I had a lead time of 14 months.
Jesus.
So it was over a year to wait with it. But yeah, that was my personal...
Oh, no, definitely.
It was very different in different... I mean, mate, it was different in England to what it was in Wales. It was different in England to what it was in Scotland. But in England, where I was working, there was no point where we were ever stopped from working.
No, that's good then. Yeah. So with us, it was like, obviously the big industries, you know, like, I would say, like, you know, like housing and this sort of stuff, the builders could go back. But then with us, it wasn't. And then you had the whole 5K, then it was 10K. It was just fucking ridiculous. Like I understand, for me being someone that's high risk, I get some things I don't get. I think me standing here to standing half an hour and then doing, what's the difference?
Yeah. Do
you know what I mean? Like, so the likes of that. But that's, so COVID for me, even though I wasn't working as such, well, I wasn't working at all, it's time for reflection on certain things. definitely. And then tiptoed into the whole Buddhist culture and that sort
That's
of
good,
stuff.
mate. That's
Yeah, it
good.
was.
I think if you cling on to that, it'll get you through a lot.
Oh, definitely. But I don't know if you ever listened to or watched. So I don't know if you get over here. Tommy Tiernan, the comedian. No,
No.
he's an Irish comedian. He has his own chat show. Not as big as yours now. Not as big as the Talking Tradesman. But he'd have his own chat show on TV, and he had this monk on from Wexford, and he went to Asia, and he said, "Tommy, do you ever find it hard to not be Zen?" He's like, "Tommy, it's like I can meditate for 3 months, but you give me half an hour in the kitchen with my mother, that goes out the window." So it just shows you, even if it happens to him, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Do you know what I mean?
You can't. I think this is the thing. People think that by studying psychology, by studying Buddhism and all these things, that it changes you. It don't change you.
No.
The feelings are still the same. Like if somebody pisses me off, they still piss me off.
Yeah.
I've just got better coping mechanisms now.
Definitely.
I understand myself now, so I understand why I'm going to get angry, why I'm going to react in a certain way. And whereas previously, like I said, I'd have a bad week and think, fuck, I can't wait to get home, buy a bottle of rum and whatever. Now I'll think, I want that rum because I've had a bad week, but tomorrow I'm going to feel worse.
Yeah.
So just go home and have a cup of tea and just chill, and it'll all be all right.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's just how you think about it.
Yeah.
It definitely is, but it's no easy task by any means.
Constant, mate. It's constant work. Constant work on
is.
it. I've still got my triggers. You'll still have your triggers.
Yeah.
You've still got your muscle memory of how you used to react. And that'll still be the first thing you turn to. But having that little break of being able to step out of it and just examine why you feel like you feel.
Yeah.
I think it's so powerful, mate. I really do.
No, it is. I think so. But in saying that, then, the next part of my story, even during that COVID, I got into that. But then I ended up at the time, I ended up in a relationship, which was great at the start, but then it wasn't. And I slipped back into old ways, not as in doing drugs, but drinking an awful lot because I was so unhappy in a situation, And without going to all the ins and outs, it was good and it wasn't good. And you're being told to be a certain way and do a certain thing and vice versa. And you're like, okay, why am I listening to this? Do you know what I mean? And then you're putting up with stuff like that. So I remember, then I went, I use the word depressed loosely because I know people that have very close to me that have been depression. I say down. I was down. Yeah. And even when I was mad for doing the bag and stuff, I wasn't depressed. There was times where I wouldn't want to come home back then, especially the football times. I'd rather be at the side of the road talking to someone absolute shy, afraid of going home. And it wasn't to go home to do something to myself, but it was the whole thing of being on my own at home.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I found then, and this was still in my mindset, why do I still fucking feel this way? And then when I was in a relationship at the time, it wasn't, what would you say? It wasn't the healthiest in some ways, and I was being spoke to not nicely. And then this person had their own problems, which but you have respect. So I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck this, and then eventually got out of that situation, and then I went, what would you say? Then I went to counselling for the first time ever, and that was just a whole, what would you call it? Wide open experience.
Yeah.
So getting real deep there and I have to go for some more.
Mate, I love it, mate. I'm a big advocate for counselling. I need to go and have it myself, to be honest.
I think everybody does at some stage.
100%, mate. I think everyone should.
Yeah.
I think it's just like going to the gym for your brain.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's just
really
about
is.
keeping mentally fit.
Yeah. No, it is. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this person in question was the worst, but definitely certain things, I was changing who I was. And I was being angry towards people that were very close to me because I was being told X, Y, and Z isn't you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. And you're saying, what the fuck, So then with that, when I, got out of that situation, I was like, right, like that again for the first 2 months. I was like, I'm not going drinking or anything. I remember my dad pulled me aside and he said, I know you're not happy, but please don't go back to the way you were with the football situation because you can't. And I said, no, Dad, I know who I am and what I wouldn't do that because I saw he was shit himself, being this fella, I was so down. I'm saying I wasn't depressed. There was situations when I sit in the van crying. There was 2 situations which I actually never really told anyone that, but because you're so unhappy where you are and you don't see a way out, as in where I was in the relationship situation, and it's not a nice thing at all, and for someone to make you feel that way as well, it's not healthy. Definitely not. And I did find myself I was drinking more as well then, trying to cope. Because I kind of felt if I'm drunk, it's grand. Everything's grand, but it's not.
It's a normal thing, mate. It's such a normal coping mechanism, and it's with alcohol. It's such a hard one to get away from, mate, isn't it? Because it's with the world we live in. It's glorified in every way.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're down, have a drink.
Yeah.
You're doing well, have a drink. Birthday, have a drink.
But if you
know?
if you came out, say this evening or tomorrow night, and you're like, oh, Russ, and they're like, do you want a pint? No, I'm drinking. Oh, you have a cold? It's like, no, I just don't want to have a drink.
Oh, you will. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's mad. I don't run like I love it, and I love a pint of porter. Like, do you know what I mean? I love me Guinness, but there is times. But at this time, I knew after this relationship ended, I was like, I can't go near for a while, and I didn't because I was just afraid of not of going back, but I kind of felt like I was so unhappy. I didn't understand the reasons why I was unhappy. So then, like, I remember talking to family, like my brother and my sister about it, and then sister said to me, "Well, would you go talk to somebody?" And so I did, and I opened up everything about growing up and this, that, and the other, And I was saying, like, she remember the kind of said to me, like, why? And I was like, well, I was in this situation, relationship, and I wasn't being spoke to nicely at all, and X, Y, and Z. All the details are a bit irrelevant. It's just to where I am now. And then she said, okay. And she was, can I ask you about growing up? I said, yeah. I was like, well, like, mom and dad separated young, and dad moved out and in with somebody else, and whatever. And she's like, okay, so you're afraid of abandonment? And I said, oh shit, yeah, like a light bulb.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because right, this is why I put up a crap. Yeah. And she was like, what? I was like, well, I didn't feel I was good enough or good looking enough to find anyone else. I was like, yeah, but you need to get that mindset out. So then, the counselling, Jesus, it definitely opened up a lot of stuff. Even with being dyslexic as well, like, people think being dyslexic is just reading and writing. It's not. There's a whole other stuff. Like, I would say even come today and doing the 2 train trips, I had to re-go over it in my mindset. If one of them trains was delayed a good bit, I'd be fucking shitting it, and my mind would be going mad, and I'd be a bit not be rude because the first time meeting yourself, I'd be like, oh, for God's sake, and all. Because what I was told about in counselling was my brain put so much effort into making a plan, because I'm dyslexic, I find it hard. Yeah. So if the plan doesn't go right that way, I go into a big tizzy. So and then as well, like, I stutter the odd time, and that's because I can't get the words out. I thought it's because I was nervous. So, like, as much as the counsellor was, as much as telling me about my own past, she was opening up this whole book about being dyslexic, and because it's, I think, dyslexic, ADHD, we're all, it's what's it, microneurgens? Is that
neurodivergent?
Sorry, that's the word. Yeah, we're all the same with different traits.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm talking, obviously I've been gross in our conversation, but someone's talking to me and I'm not really into it, I start looking over here, counting the tiles. I remember I was like, geez, am I ADHD? Like, no, it's because I can't concentrate what they're saying because it doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
So it's just funny because you think dyslexic is just reading and writing. It's not. There's this whole other side of things, like.
It's that thing though, mate, isn't it? I mean, first of all, what I want to say is what you said there about recognising when that relationship broke down, to actively recognise and think, I need to stay away from alcohol.
Yeah.
Mate, that's massive. That's growth. That's huge
growth.
Yeah,
most definitely. Yeah.
Because that's to recognise that in yourself and go, okay, I've been through some shit. What I need to do is not go back that way. Mate, that's huge. That's huge.
No. Yeah, no, it is. And you have people ring you, especially your mates. And they my very close friends that I have now, and I love them all to death. You know who they are. They would say to me, "Oh, do you want to come out?" And I'm like, "No, I can't do that at the moment." And they wouldn't understand why. Then they know, and okay, no, I get that. Because and don't be wrong, if I went out during that period and had a few pints, I'm more than sure when you're drunk and someone's in the jacks, I've seen age. Do you want a bump? It's very easy to say yeah. And then you're right fucking back where you are, and then you're waking up on the Monday, and especially in our job, you're going to meet a customer. You have to be, even if you're tired, you'd be like, yeah, how are you? Lovely to meet you again. You can't be like, oh, sorry, I was in the bag last night.
Do you know what, Sean? Yeah, it's a tough one, mate. It's one of the hard things about the construction industry because you always have to put that mask on, and there's times you'll have been through things, I've been through things, I remember going through my divorce and there was times where my head was gone, but you're turning up to Mrs. Smith's house on 9 o'clock Monday morning, 8:30 Monday morning. You're all right, Russ, how was your weekend? Yeah, it was good, yeah, how was yours? And I'm like, it wasn't good, it was fucking awful. Barely made it through it. Yeah. But you've still got to put that
of course,
customer face on. Because customer don't want you to turn up Monday and start going, oh, this has gone wrong and that's gone wrong and this has gone wrong. Because then they're going to look at your work. Then they're going to, be worried about, are they getting the right service? So, yeah, man, being a business owner, it's not easy.
No, it's definitely not easy now, which I come to realise now, like, and obviously growing and that. but it's not. And especially like if you went on a session and you're trying to get up the next morning, not so much being motivated, but your work, you know yourself, if you're cutting in, now I cut it now with one hand and record with the other hand, 'cause I'm doing it so long. But there is times where you're like, oh, that line's not 100% straight.
That's a new skill you got to have now, Sean,
no.
isn't it? You got to be able to record and cut in. That should be like the test pass now.
The test pass, yeah, for everyone with the videos.
Yeah.
So I did one a few weeks ago, and it was reached out by Fleetwood Paint actually. And I had sash brush just cut in because the customer didn't want the walls, but I'm just doing the door frames. And I was recording it. I didn't realise that he did it, and I put it open, and everyone texted me, "Geez, you must have been holding your breath doing that, weren't you?"
Mate, I've a couple of different things. I'll either use a tripod now, because otherwise, like, because I get confused. I'll either look at myself cutting in and forget I've got a camera, so I'll end up recording like the wall over there or something, or I'm looking through the camera and I'm not really looking at my. It's a talent, mate.
Yeah, it is.
It's a talent.
I realise definitely I'm doing it now a lot more. I'm like, Jesus. But now if I was out of a Saturday night, Sunday hungover, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd be shaking my hands everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this is it, man. You've got to juggle so many things as a business owner.
I don't know if it was on one of the early episodes of yourself. I remember hearing it on one of the podcasts. I only listen to your podcast, so it must have been your podcast. Yeah. But they said like choice. It's hard. And I know, do you know what it was? You shared it actually. I think it was on the Instagram one time.
Okay.
Choice. It was either go out in the session or stay in. Choice. You have to make a choice, and it's hard. But if you stay in, you'll be more fresh the next day. You go out, you're not staying in, you're not bored. So like you have to make a choice. Choices are hard. Yeah. You want to hang around with that group still? Okay, that's your choice, but you're not going to grow.
Can't have everything, mate.
You can't. You definitely can't. Yeah. And then, which I realised now, like even today coming on the podcast with yourself, so many of my new friends through this industry text me, even all weekend, good luck. And it's just like, I haven't even met you yet. And you're already wishing me luck. Like, it just shows you the bond.
It does, mate. And I think we all want it is the other thing. Yeah. We're all craving it.
Yeah,
no, we're craving that acceptance, the tribe, people like, you know, I mean, you've got things in common. Yeah. Like we're business owners, we're decorators, we've got all these things in common, so it links us. So then you're building that connection, belonging, purpose, you know, all these words I'm throwing out, but they're all so important. They're what drives us, you know?
Oh, no, definitely.
It's about, life is about being happy, isn't it? If you're not happy, it don't mean anything.
No, but you know, life is so bloody short.
Yeah,
it's so short, and that's just how they even with the suicide rate, especially young kids. They see things online and you go, "Oh, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to do this myself," and then
it's frightening.
Not how does it cross bad? But you do that and it's devastating. Then you have the funeral. They play your favorite songs, but then 2 months later, it's like, see, Liverpool won last night.
Yeah,
and then this poor child that done this,
life goes
just
on.
Fucking gone to the following year, maybe a year anniversary, and people might get the tattoo of the child's name. It's just.
Life goes on, mate, doesn't it? That's the thing. The brutal nature of life is it goes on.
Yeah,
like we're all gonna expire one day.
Yeah, of course.
So, like, to not take that in such a pessimistic way, but to take it in, you got one shot at this. Enjoy it.
Yeah,
you know, don't let the little things get you down. And if you are struggling, fucking speak out, man. Yeah. Speak out to somebody, whether it's a friend online, whether it's one of these call centres, you've got Samaritans, you've got Lighthouse Club. If anyone is listening and is struggling at the minute, Samaritans 116 123. You got all these facilities. You know, there are people there to listen.
Yeah,
but it's just knowing that people want to listen.
But you know what the big thing is as well? I think I have a problem. Let's say, right? I'm not going to bore you with it, and that's the fucking thing.
Yeah,
bore me.
Yeah.
Just ring somebody. Like, he's a very good friend of mine at the moment now, and you know I talk to him 3 times a week. And it's a quick voice now.
Yeah.
And he knows I'm there now. And vice versa if I need him. And it's quick, how you doing? No, like, happy Monday. Like, I just try to be real perky. Like, in the morning, I just said this to another decorator. In the morning, I have my own routine in the van. I do be sharing myself in the van. I get in the van, I don't have any music on. I'm like, today's going to be a fucking great day. I'm the fucking best. And people would be looking at me in the van, but I don't care because I'm making myself feel this way. Yeah. I own a great company. Because if you say it in the tense that it is now, you're going to feel that way.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you're in school and you're given lines, like, I will not do this, I will not that. If you write it so much times, you believe it. So if you say it to yourself in the van or whatever, or write it down every morning, I'm the fucking best, I own a great company. It gets into that mindset and you just keep practicing and practicing and practicing. They understand there's times when you might be very low and you can't do that, but when you try to keep doing things like this, to me, it helps me anyway.
Self-affirmations, mate. Yeah, they're powerful.
I do. Like,
it's all
even
powerful
getting the trains today to you, I'm like, it's going to be a great fucking day. Trains be no problem. And I meet myself now and this will be grand. But if I go, I'm shitting it getting these trains. then you know something's going to go wrong.
I love the conversation, mate. I like the conversation we've sort of gone through from your start point, and this part of like hearing about the growth and the way that you've changed. That's a beautiful thing, mate.
Yeah. But like that's like even when I was talking to you before coming on, you're kind of saying, "Jay, do I have a story?" But then I suppose, yeah,
You do, man. You do. Look, I mean, well, we've touched on the subjects we've touched on. And as I said before, I've spoken to some guests. I mean, this week, last week, sat down with Andy Williams,
Yeah.
former paratrooper, former MI5, former, not many people, incredible story.
Yeah.
But not many people can resonate with it because it's not everyday battles.
Yeah, of course.
They're exceptional battles.
Yeah.
And I've had some guests with some incredible stories, exceptional stories. But the nature of it being exceptional is that not many people can put themselves in those shoes, thankfully, in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But your story, mate, how many people will have struggled with the things that you've struggled with? A hell of a lot.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you look at the culture, to go back to it, but the football hooliganism only exists because so many men do it.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah,
you know?
Definitely, yeah.
If it was just the odd person, it wouldn't be much of a fucking scene, would it?
No, that's
but
true, yeah.
It's so many people that get sucked into that. And that's why it's such an issue.
It really is. And obviously these people that are involved in even today, like I know Fiona would say, "Oh, so it's not an issue; it's a bit of crack." But when it's at the fact in your own self, like you can't tell me if someone's going to do that and do the bag all the time. You can't tell me they're happy Monday to Friday.
Of course, mate. It's an escape.
So.
Every part of that is an escape, whether it's the alcohol, the drugs, or the fighting. It's an escape.
Yeah,
and it can sound like being like dead judgmental on people, but it comes from a place of are you really happy to be doing that? Because you're one step and one bad decision away from a fucking disaster.
But like exactly, like, and it is, and like I was saying that time, like when I was a little bit in trouble, thank God I wasn't pressed. It was just like I can't remember what it was called. It was like it's this thing the guards bring that you went for an interview, so they kind of say, "Well, I'm not going to give this guy conviction or anything like that." And I was just, but like, look at me now. I never thought I was going to have my own company.
Yeah,
I was still in retail at the time, so I was like, it doesn't bother me. But fuck me, look where I am now. Do you know what I mean? That's exactly it. And the whole thing, which I do find as well, is when you think of these things like, if so-and-so heard my story or whatever. When I was talking to one of my customers last week and I was saying to her, she goes, "Yeah, but I know who you are now, so it doesn't..." As I always say to everybody, your past doesn't define you. It shapes you into the person you come. Yeah. And I think that's as true as anything.
100%, mate. And there's a real reality to that. Look, nobody's perfect, you know?
Oh, God, no.
Good people do bad things.
Yeah.
And bad people do good things. And like you say, you are not the definition of your actions.
No.
It's just if you can do that, you've had the experience, you've learned from it, you move on. If you keep repeating that thing,
that's different.
Then it is what it is. But when you can sit here and say, I made this mistake and I've learned from it, I've moved on, you should never be persecuted for that.
No.
Because like you said, it's part of the experience where you now know that is wrong and that's the way to act and that's not the way to act.
Yeah.
So it's all part of your growth, mate. And you've sat here and literally detailed your growth to the point where you are, and you're sat here today and you're going to go and meet all these like-minded people today and tomorrow. And that's the beauty of it.
It really is. It is. And do you know what? Like I find, which might sound very, what's it called, cliche, but I finally kind of felt I've found my tribe in a sense.
There you go.
Yeah. Because I've always, even when my mum used to tell me, even when I used to get assessed for being dyslexic, the woman had a gorgeous Victorian house. And I used to be looking at the paintwork. And I was obsessed with it. And I've always had this thing of design, paint, colours and all. And now I'd be talking to people online who I'm friends with. I'm like, what do you think of this? I'm doing this in my bedroom. That's gorgeous. And then I just love everything about it. Like, I look at different people, different techniques and everything. Like,
and then you connect with like-minded people. And like you said, there's your tribe.
Oh, yeah, no. Because then my brother there during the night, I was like, I definitely feel I finally found...
Yeah.
Now, it took me till I was 33 to find
Mate, listen, it don't matter if you're 23, 33, 43, 53. Start that journey and find, because none of us know how long we got.
No.
But if you can find your tribe, I've talked about this so many times, purpose. If you can find that purpose, find your people, and then just fucking absorb yourself into that, man. If that's what makes you happy and that's what keeps you on the straight and narrow and you can live the best quality of life that you can, that's where it's at. That's where the happiness is at.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's never the destination. It's always a journey.
Oh, yeah, but that's like I said to you at the start. If we were all born and JC is there, it's like, welcome to the world, depending on what your religions are, and JC's like, there's a book. When this happens, do this. When that happens, do that. Then everyone would be perfect.
Exactly.
But you had to go through shit.
Yeah.
To build your character.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I could, it really is. Like I could sit here and do like, oh, look at that person doing drugs, they're fucking idiot. You ever did it back? No, I never done it. Like, but I do it and I know what that person's going through.
But listen, Sean, I mean, see, this is the way I think of this. You've been through all that. You're sat here today. You've told your story. Your story could then reach somebody that's in that position in any of them stages that can then look and go, well, hold on, Sean was in that. He's done that. They might even reach out to you. They might drop you a message and go, mate, I heard you say this. Look, I'm struggling with this right now. And your story could make a real difference. Or it could be somebody that's going to listen to the story that's never going to reach out to you. You're never going to know about it.
Of course.
But it could make a real difference to one person.
Yeah, that's because at the time when I was going to reach out to you and come on and stuff, I remember like, oh, I'm not too sure now. But then the way I look at it as well is, if you're a kid now, and I don't have a kid listen to this podcast, but if you're a kid or you know, someone's father or mother, and like, oh, my child's dyslexic, and God, will they go to 9 to 5? Well, this fella set up his own business. It's not fucking easy. Yeah. But I did, like, if you told me when I was in school, or my teachers at the time, I'm going to have my own business, they'd be like, you can't even find it in a word search. Do you know what I mean? Like, but here I am.
Exactly that, mate.
And that's it. And especially when I was mad on doing the bag and all, I never thought of this. Never thought.
Man, this is what this is all about. And that message can get to one person. Then in many ways, all of your hardships that you've been through have been for a reason. Yeah. And been for not only for you, but potentially to help other people.
But that's the whole thing, isn't it? You tell your story and hopefully reach out to people. Yeah, definitely. And I do find this, ain't you, since after Christmas when I talk to you now, like I'd say to anybody,
anybody,
come out of your comfort zone. My Definitely. God, like a friend like Amy, like she sent me this thing. I still have on my phone screen. It's like come out of your comfort zone and you grow along them lines. I look at it every day, and if you don't come out, if you don't stand in front of the camera, you don't reach out to this person. Like I've talked to so many decorators online. Send a message. Send you messages to certain podcasts that I like. Guests on your podcast, like Stuart and I send, oh man, great list, love listening to that. And they write back to you. If I didn't text them, you wouldn't have wrote back. So what's the difference? Do you know what I mean? So you had to take that risk and just text somebody. I'm like, I really enjoyed that. Then you become friends with people straight away.
Growth is never comfortable, mate.
No.
Growth is always in the uncomfort. Growth is in the mistakes. Growth is in the fuck-ups.
Yeah.
Like, if you get everything right your whole life, you never learn anything from it.
It'll be a boring life as well.
Exactly. Wouldn't it just?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it just?
Most definitely.
So when you can learn, it's like a stoic mindset that, when you can learn to embrace and see the quality in the mistakes, when you can see the value in trauma because it's a lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Then that has been a mindset, a game changer for me. It really has.
Same myself. Like when I went to counselling and I was just like, I'm not feeling the best in X, Y, and Z, and I spoke to a certain way, you know, in relationship wise, and it's like, okay, let's have a look at this. And then I told her about the dream I had about my dad, and I told my dad about it since, like, and God, look, you don't upset your parents, but I get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I had this dream about you leaving me in the car and all. And I had it fucking, man, every week and every month. And then I had it like, what's I was 13, like 13, 12, having it, and your pillow be fucking wet, still the tears, like. But it was my mindset that my dad left, but he didn't leave us in a sense. But you think this because of just surroundings and things. But if I didn't go counselling, she wouldn't explain this to me. This is why I keep looking for evaluation in certain relationships I was in.
Yeah.
And like, you know, someone can say to you, like, you know, I'm going around, like, not saying everyone's the same, but I can let you pick that up, don't pick that up, do this, do that. And you're like, why am I letting this person speak to me like this? Oh, because I don't be on my own. Why don't you want to be on your own? Do you feel you're not good enough to get somebody else? Why is this? And I do think as well is this generation with, okay, we're all on Instagram for our business, but Instagram, Love Island, Big Brother, all this, I can't stand any of that stuff now. And in Easter on, they watch it, but you're looking at these people with the way they look, the way they dress. They have the kids, they have the big house, they have this, but it's not all black and white. And you think it's black and white watching it.
Yeah.
Like I'm like 33 now. I would love to have a son or a daughter. I'd love to have a home now, and I don't as such, but I'm building a business. This is my journey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and for some people now, especially in Ireland, and you get sick of hearing it. Oh, do you have any people say to my mother, do you have any grandkids? Do you have this? No, not yet. I don't know if it's an Irish thing. It's probably the same over here. And you're saying, no, because I'm not there yet. What's the point of me? Like, let's say, for argument's sake, if I got an ex-partner pregnant and then it didn't work out, and then you have the argy-bargies, it's not always, do you know what I mean? It would be a lot worse.
Yeah. Absolutely, mate. Yeah. There's no, mate, you're still a young man. Do you know what I mean? You've got plenty of time ahead of you to get all of that stuff if you want that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If it happens,
that's the thing. You know, if you want it, it will come. It will come when you're ready.
Exactly. I just think in society, now it's a little bit different with people like, having the TikToks and this, that, and doing their own thing. I still think deep down it's still not normal to do 9 to 5, get married, have a kid, mortgage, whatever. If you want to go traveling or something, what are you going traveling for? Do you know what I mean? I still think we need to get our mind around that. The normality isn't always a normality.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Everyone's path is different. But it's, look, mate, we could go on a whole conversation on that.
Open that bottle of whiskey there.
Yeah, that's it. Just to mention, by the way, Sean has brought me. In fact, I'm going to show it off. I'm going to show it off because it looks special. All the way from Ireland. I'm going to take this thing off, actually.
County Mead.
Tell me about this, Sean.
So it's a distillery. It's in Mead.
Sean's gift.
Whiskey. Yeah, so my sister brought me on a tour there actually a couple of years ago, and that's how I got into whiskey originally. Like, I just loved the aftertaste of it. It's just like nice vanilla taste. It's gorgeous.
It does look pretty special, mate.
But it's the shape of the castle there. That's how it's kind of done. Like,
okay,
of arms, yeah.
So what is this actually from? Like just Ireland or Dublin or
no? So it'll be Mead. So it's literally like 10 minutes from Dublin. Like,
oh wow,
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put that there. See. Sean came with gifts. There's also a few other bits and pieces. I've got a personalised Guinness glass as well, and a few other bits. So, mate, massive thank you.
No, we're not. Like, thanks for having me. Like, and for anybody that's thinking of it, yeah, go for it.
The thanks are all mine. I don't expect anyone to bring me gifts. Like, your gift to me is your time. Time and effort in coming. You know.
Let me tell my story, because I find as well is you can go counselling, you can talk to people, talk to your close friends, but I feel sometimes if you say it out loud, there's going to be a weight off your shoulders in some ways.
You're passing that gift on to other people now, mate. And that's a noble thing. And funnily enough, one of the Buddhist philosophies that I love is that happiness is found in service to others.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what you're doing today, though. You're giving your story in service to others now.
But it's so, and I love that. It's like even you get on a bus, you let someone in front of you, you feel great already.
Yeah.
For the smallest of things.
Yeah.
But that's why I think I'm saying to you earlier on, like, and something I try to go by is, being rude can cost you everything. Being nice costs you nothing. If someone's rude to you, they'll always remember that. You say to somebody, "Oh, you go next with your groceries. Oh, wait, you feel great." Yeah. And that person, he's a lovely guy. There's actually, I was just back at home. I was getting my ticket, and my machine was working, so to walk to the further machine, got a ticket out. This lady was walking up. I noticed her behind me. I said, she was waiting. I gave her my ticket. 2 weeks later, she rang me to do a job in her house.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, pays dividends.
Just shows you though.
100%.
It's not always the way, but I just like, you were real nice. Now I remember you gave it. I was like, Jesus, sure, I don't want you to walk the whole way over. Like, so you just be nice to people. It's not easy. Certainly not easy. I'm not walking out here like as a big Buddha, but like it isn't easy. But if you do it, like, it's just, you feel good.
It's a good practice, mate. 100%.
Yeah, definitely feel good.
Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to host and listen to your story.
Hope you understand it now.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, talking of gifts, actually, big shout out to the guys at the Funky Peach. So I'm going to give Sean shortly the merch for the Talking Tradesman. So hat, hoodie, T-shirt, and that printed that I got out the back for you, mate. I'll go and grab you that in a minute. Before we do wrap things up, mate, is there anything that we haven't spoken on that you wanted to get out?
I say there is, and then there's not, and then you leave. Sure, I should have said X, Y, and Z. For me personally, I would say to anybody, especially like, come out of your comfort zone. It's not bloody easy, but when you if I didn't, so I, as you know yourself, I had a fall a couple of months ago off a ladder, and I was lying there, and I wouldn't mind this, again on Instagram, the amount of messages I got from one of the decorators. Are you okay? Blah blah blah. X, Y, Z. They're one of my best friends. Do you want to lend them money for a while? I said, no. And these are people that actually are concerned. And other people you think would reach out to you don't reach out to you. But look, that's a whole other story. But ever since then, I sat there with my cast. I said, you know what? Fuck this. Next 6 months of Christmas, I'm going to come out, start getting in front of the camera, practice, reach out to yourself. Now I'm on a podcast. Me, Sean, full of anxiety, that wouldn't even got a plane and a train. Got a train in England. Wouldn't get a train at home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You just have to just go for it.
Absolutely, mate. I found that probably a year, 2 years ago. I made the decision myself that if it makes me uncomfortable, I'm doing it.
Then you have to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
That's, like you said, man, that's where the growth is.
It takes a while, but it is. And it's like reaching out to people. Everyone wants to reach out to me about certain things, or it's like just chats. Do you mean? Definitely. Like, that's really it, I think, man.
It's a great message to leave it on, man.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, mate, it's been a fucking pleasure. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to see a lot more of you over the next couple of days, hopefully, anyway.
Yeah.
We'll continue our conversations off camera. and find out all the juicy bits afterwards.
the stories I can't say online.
That's it, mate. That's it. But listen, to everyone that's listening, thank you very much for tuning in. As usual, if you can please like, subscribe, follow, share, whatever you're listening on, just do all that kind of stuff. And if you got a few minutes, really appreciate if you leave a review. It all helps with the algorithm, helps push the podcast to people that need to hear it. And thank you again for listening. Catch you on the next one.
I'm going to say, give me a follow as well.
Of course, man. Sean, listen, I've missed this bit. I'm out of practice.
You know what?
Sean's
bring you the
details,
free gift so you don't plug me.
Sean's details will all be in the episode description. Scroll down, you'll find where you can find Sean. But, Sean, where do they find you?
Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, Nolan Decorating.
TikTok as well?
Yeah, I'm trying to push. I'll show you my little Sid. If anyone, so Sid, the little mascot I have now. So my very good friend Lydia, she made that for me, just out of the goodness of her heart. She's not a good person.
Listen, you can't talk about Sid and then not have Sid. Where's Sid?
Could I go up and grab him?
Grab Sid, Sean.
Right.
Grab Sid. Hold on, folks. Before you go, we need to be introduced to Sid. Just watch you don't trip on cables. Don't need any compensation claims. To anyone considering compensation claims, this is a charity.
So, like again, you meet good people in life, later on in life as well. This is Sid.
So we have Sid.
So,
hold Sid up for the camera there, Sean.
Here he is, little Sid.
Tell me the story about Sid.
So, a good friend of mine, Lydia, so she's getting married to my childhood friend, actually, and really only kindled a friendship again about a year ago. And she does the crocheting, and I said one day in passing, because my logo is Sid, like, before Sid. Yeah, so that's my logo, is the little guy.
Right.
I said to her one day, could you make that? Wasn't thinking anything of it.
Yeah.
And she went out of her way to make Sid for me. And since then, like, he's at the blowing up, like, TikTok videos, Instagram videos.
Yeah.
And now he's going to AR Decor now. And do you know what I mean? So there's, and Liam, the Piggy Painter, had him in Donegal 2 weeks ago.
So he's getting about.
He's getting about El Sido. Yeah. So
right, I know you took some pictures anyway, but you got to have we got to have Sid with a sign.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. They're good at Sid. So yeah, look for the Sid videos. Up and coming.
Check out Sid. So yeah, as we were saying anyway, go give Sean a follow on all his socials. So I'll put the details in the episode description below. We'll try this again. Thank you very much for listening. So,
man, that's the Irish in me. We don't know on the show.
Take care. We'll see you soon on the next one.